And there we go.
Make sure my settings are good here. So they, hmm, I guess they are. So they don't ever move when I talk. So I don't think mine's like set up right or something. I don't fucking know.
Well,
Let
I
me see.
know, I know for sure that I can hear you. So
Yeah. I think everything on. Let me see if this. Let me see if that works at all. Yeah, actually, seemed like that worked. So whatever. Use one microphone on one end and one on the other, I guess.
hey, whatever works, man.
Welcome to the normal Saturday edition of Metalheads Unite.
That's right.
If you guys missed last night, we had the Australian thrash band Hidden Intent on.
Yep.
Chris and Phil, and then Paul was lingering around, but
Yeah, Paul
he
was.
he he never made his face onto the screen, but
Yeah.
he was lingering around back there.
Thankfully, Chris took some pictures and posted them onto the face on their Facebook and Instagram last night. So there
Oh, did
is,
they?
yeah, there is photographic evidence that Paul was around. So
Yeah.
so he was there. But yeah, so it was very cool of Phil and Chris to hang out with us for a couple hours last night. So we
Yeah.
know it was day of show for them. So
Right. Yeah.
so yeah, it was cool of them to hang out with us for a couple
Yeah,
hours.
it was good. You know, it was
Yeah.
2 hours, so it wasn't as lengthy as some of the ones we've gotten into, but it was
Also,
definitely
it also wasn't as short as a couple of ones that we've
what
had too.
right.
So I
Yeah.
mean,
So, so
we don't put any any minimum or
yeah,
maximum times on it.
we just roll with it, man. Like
Yeah.
whatever. If it when it feels right, we just
Hmm.
cut it short. So
Yeah. Well, they said they had to get going. We are like, hey, no problem.
yeah, man. So it's all for you. It's not really for us.
That's right.
I guess it kind of is, but not in a sense of what we do. We kind of put that
Sure.
platform out there for them to promote what they're doing. So
Oh yeah.
so yeah, so and
Yeah.
man, those guys like they kept name dropping these bands they've been on tour with, and I'm like, holy shit, dude, like
Yeah.
really. But
The bills that we could arrange just from the list of bands that they've
yeah,
played with is just unbelievable.
it was like Heathen and Havoc and
Artillery
yeah,
and
Artillery. It's like,
it's just Warbringer.
Warbringer.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, man.
I know Chris would say, "Yeah, we were on tour with this band." I was like, like really?
Like yeah, like damn. Uh, that's what I said. Like when we got around to that question, I said maybe easier to ask who you haven't been on tour with.
Yeah.
That you would like to tour with. So
And he even said it, and Chris even said he'd like to tour with Warbringer again anyway. Of
yeah.
course,
So
of course, who wouldn't? But
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah. So,
So, pretty cool.
but yeah, good dudes though. You guys should check out their albums.
Yeah.
They got three LPs over on Spotify. If you want to check those out.
Yep, and of course they kind of hinted around that they were working on new stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, I think they was even saying like hopefully by sometime next year they'll have some new stuff out. So
Yep.
maybe we'll get them to come back and talk about that when they release that. But,
Oh, that would be awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, what did they say? They said they've got like the workings. I think you said it was like half a dozen
six,
songs. Yeah,
yeah, like
half a
six
dozen.
songs. Yeah,
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 yeah. So that's a pretty damn good start for sure.
yeah,
Especially like they say with as busy as they've been, because they've been busy for sure. They were over here. They're
yeah. So
back over in Australia now.
I think whenever I talked to them, it was like they had me like waiting for a while for a response, and then he even come back and said, "Hey, I apologize." He said, "I was we had some bookings come up, and I just want to make sure I'm not you know I'm not over double booking myself to where you know can't do your guys and I can't do the show too." So
Oh, that's 100%
yeah,
understandable. Yeah,
yeah. So no, I told him, I say, man, no worries. Just whenever you guys can do it, we'll get
yeah,
it set up. We'll do it. So luckily it
yeah. I mean,
worked out the way it did. So
Oh yeah, I mean, and that's what, and I know you've done the same thing, but I mean, that's what we always tell bands when we reach out. It's like, even if it's, a month or two down the line, is something, whenever your
Right.
guys' schedule clears up, it's not like anything was like, we're reaching out, we'd like to do it next week, and if you guys aren't available, we'll move on or anything like that. I mean, so, we're, yeah, hell, we're totally flexible. I mean, we did Friday night, or the Friday night interview last night, because they're so far ahead in
Right.
time. So I mean, did the same thing with Vinny with Ash's Rain. We got together on a Friday night, So I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there are accommodations we can definitely make. We don't have any issues with that. So
Yeah. I mean, it's,
because we're just appreciative of all these guys who have, and girls,
yeah.
hexed and sepsis. So I mean, I'm not trying to be. That's you guys will have to forgive me. That's the Michigan in me.
Yeah.
That's what we
Well,
say up here.
we kind of do that, I think, everywhere in the United States, but
Yeah. So, but yeah, so I'm not trying to exclude the females by any stretch of the imagination. So but so we definitely try to be as flexible as we can, because we know everyone is kind of doing us a solid by taking time out of their schedules to join us. So
right.
Ever so grateful to everyone who's been on the show. So
I'm actually trying to look through my calendar here to see. We do have two bands lined up the next 2 weeks, but and we'll
yes,
talk about
we
that.
do.
Talk about that a little later. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make sure I don't cross them up and say, "Oh,
right."
they'll be like, "No, man, we're like 2 weeks from
Yeah,
now."
no, we're
Like, oh,
first. Yeah,
shit.
we're first. They're second. Yeah, yeah.
But cool thing. So I guess we will dive into this thing today. And,
Yeah.
got a pretty good bit to talk about here. So not a lot of birthdays, but that's all right. I think the news stories and the conversational piece you found will make up for it. But
Yeah.
but so we're going through from November 20th to the 26th here.
Mm-hmm.
November 20th, we had Ollie Sykes, vocalist for Bring Me the Horizon. November 21st, we had Gary Peel, guitarist for Sammy Hagar. November 22nd, we had Lawrence Gowan, a keyboard player and singer for Styx. We had Ville Vallo, a singer for him. And then we had Corey Ballou, guitarist for Trivium. And then November 23rd, we had Patrick Mamelli, vocalist and guitarist for Pestilence. I had Chris Adler, of course, he's known for being the drummer for Lamb of God, or maybe you know him as Burn the Priest from earlier in their career, but
yeah, he had that little brief stint with Megadeth too. But yeah, his claim to fame is Lamb of God.
Yeah. But, I mean, his resume is pretty.
Oh, no slouch for sure. Absolutely
right.
not.
And then we had November 24th, we had Tony Rombola, guitarist for Godsmack, Rob Nicholson, session and touring guitarist for Rob Zombie and Ozzy Osbourne, which you can't go wrong with either one of those, so
right.
Good on him. Then we had November 25th, Casey Smith, keyboardist for Danger Danger, Mark Lanigan, singer-songwriter for the Screaming Trees and Queens of the Stone Age, who unfortunately passed away in 2022. So earlier this year, I think we actually covered that in the deaths earlier this year. So, then last but not least, you had Tim Armstrong, vocalist and guitarist for Rancid. Looking up real quick here because I missed one last week, and I want to make sure I shout it out this week. I meant to put it in the page, but it's all good. But last week. Let's see. Oh, there it is. They had Ben Anderson, the drummer for Nothing More, had a birthday last week, and I totally missed that. I don't know how I did. I had a screenshot it too, which is kind of sucks on my part, but so that's on me. But anyway, happy birthday to all of those that were mentioned, and a big shout out to one more from the 24th. That was my better half. My wife had a birthday on the 24th, so happy birthday to Susie there too.
Yes.
So happy birthday to all of those.
Yeah, that's definitely, that last one was one you definitely didn't want to miss, because
No,
you would
it
have,
came up.
yeah, you would have ended up a screenshot.
Yeah. Well, or in the front page of the newspaper. Not in the way I
Right.
wanted to be.
Yes, I
And
mean,
then, of course,
overlooking some of these, you can kind of understand it. You definitely don't want to. You
yeah.
definitely don't want to overlook the wife's birthday.
And then, of course, happy birthday to anybody out there that had a birthday this week. Happy birthday
Yep.
to you as well. So, I wanted to really touch on something real quick. I know you've seen this, but I wanted to share it because these guys have
That's
been
cool.
have been on the show. But uh, Eyes of the Living shared where the Metal Devastation PR was in the Decibel magazine. So it was pretty cool that they got featured up in there. So
I actually saw that this morning. I figured we would touch on it. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, yeah, for that being like the first time that they've done this, I think it picked up some pretty good ground. I mean,
Yeah.
you're getting talked about in magazines and stuff. So
Yeah.
that's definitely right up there with what we're seeing with every other festival and stuff that we cover. So.
And I think, and I know we talked about it after we went to the festival, and I really think that that festival's got a chance of really making a name for itself. Because I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
The venue where they had it, the time of the year that they had it. I mean, it was the first week in October.
Mm-hmm.
The weather was perfect.
Yeah.
It wasn't too hot. Of course, it got a little chilly when the sun went down. But I mean, for it being an all day thing, it wasn't too hot during the day. I was comfortable all day. We went and got our sweatshirts when the sun went down and everything. So I was comfortable all day.
Well, some of us that brought them.
Yeah. Yeah. Thankfully, Kayla had a blanket in the back of her car, so you were able to use that. But but
we won't mention anybody's dumb ass name.
But I mean, was it the biggest turnout? No, it wasn't. But
it was good for a first run, I think.
Right,
exactly.
That's
1,200, around 1,200 people. I mean, that's
right. That's exactly what I was gonna say. So I genuinely foresee the turnout at doubling next year.
Oh least. Yeah.
Because we went as fans. We didn't do anything with the show other than do a little bit of networking. We talked to bands. We talked to there were some other podcasts that were there. There was a podcast that was the people who were the MCs and the hosts. They were the hosts of their own podcast out of the Washington D.C. area.
Right.
So we talked to them. And which reminds me, I still need to email them and see if they want to get together and do something. So, so there was us. There were, I think, 3 other podcasts that were there besides us, if I remember correctly. So there were a few podcasts.
There was at least 2.
There was at least 2.
I think there was somebody that was there passing out cards that were kind of like, we were. So,
Right. Yeah. So. Nice lake view also. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's gotta be Victor.
Yeah. Victor, so, good morning, my friend. Yes. Good to see you. But, the venue was amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah.
So I foresee it turn. I mean, is it going to be Woodstock? Probably not. But I mean, could it be, could it get to like 5, 6, 7,000 people? Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, if they get it too big, then they'll obviously have to move it somewhere. But
right, yeah.
I think that place can definitely hold 5K. Definitely. So
yeah, I think so because
if they had to, they could always move the parking and use that back part too. So
that's true. Yeah, because like as the concert expands, all they would have to do because they had the merch tents and everything on the outside, just move the perimeter back. That's all they would have.
Right.
To do.
Yeah.
That's all they'd have to do. So it's good to see, it was good to go. And it's good to see that the whole thing as an entity is still getting attention, a couple months later.
Yeah.
And of course, good for Eyes of the Living. I mean, they
Yeah.
deserve it too.
Well,
So
I mean, there's a lot of those bands on there that I think, whether we like the death metal scene or not, there was some death metal bands on there that I think
mhm.
I mean, hell, one of them just had a, Casket Robbery just had a
Yep,
new album out. So I
yep,
mean,
hmm,
it's kind of good to see that. It's good to see metal prosper, no matter if you like that genre,
right,
or not,
absolutely,
you know,
yeah,
because we've got some stories we're going to talk about that kind of goes along with what we're saying. So,
hmm,
we're I think the metal scene is one of the most um, overlooked
hmm.
and,
I think
and
so.
and disrespected genre of music. I think
I
so.
think so.
As we will get into in a little bit, but
Yeah, as I mean, as far as like, because I still think metal is a mainstream genre, even
oh well, yeah, but
because I mean I'm sure like if any because I mean I'm sure because I mean there are so many musical genres. I mean even outside of what we cover. I mean there are so many musical genres out there. It's
yeah,
ridiculous. I mean I'm sure someone who is like just for the sake of this argument, someone who's like a polka fan would be like, you think metal's disrespected? I listen to polka and you can't.
yeah.
So I mean but as
Yeah, but
far as like
we're not a polka podcast. So.
right, but yeah, we absolutely aren't. But I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things, I still think if you're, obviously, if you're doing like an apples to apples comparison between metal and polka, metal is still one of the more mainstream musical genres out there. But so, as far as what I would consider like mainstream musical genres, I still think metal gets just like I'm like you. I think metal gets disrespected so freaking hard.
Yeah,
And hell,
yeah.
some of this, and we oh god, we talked about I don't even know if we've talked about it at length on the show, but I mean, if you need more proof of what we were just talking about, all you have to do is look at the freaking nominees and who won at the AMAs.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things I'm going to talk
Yeah,
about
so I
here in a
mean,
little
so
bit.
I
So,
figured we were going to get there. So I mean, it's
yeah.
just
All right. Well, I guess we better dive into some of this news because we got a lot of stuff to. I already know two of these things are going to get into a discussion. So,
yeah.
uh,
All right. Well, I'll lead off this week with the current events, and as bad luck would have it, we do have another passing to share with you guys. Over at blabbermouth.net, Wilco Johnson, guitarist and vocalist of British rock band Dr. Feelgood, has died at the age of 75. News of Johnson's passing was confirmed on social media pages earlier this morning being the 23rd, so this was 3 days ago. The message states, quote, "This is the announcement we never wanted to make, and we do so with a very heavy heart. Wilco Johnson has died. He passed away at home on Monday, the 21st of November. Thank you for respecting the family's privacy at this very sad time. R.I.P. Wilco Johnson," end quote. The original Dr. Feelgood guitarist, known for his distinctive chopping guitar style, found further fame on TV in Game of Thrones, playing mute executioner Sir Island Payne in the first and second seasons, and also rose up the charts once more after teaming up with The Who frontman Roger Daltrey on hit 2014 album Going Back Home, which features incendiary reworkings of songs from Wilco's Dr. Feelgood days, including All Through the City and Going Back Home. Wilco was diagnosed in late 2012 with terminal pancreatic cancer. Despite the doctor's predictions, he continued to perform with a new zest for life. In 2013, Wilco announced that, thanks to a second opinion and subsequent life-saving surgery, he was cancer-free. In 2014, he released Going Home, which experienced significant commercial success and critical acclaim. Speaking on the Chris Evans Breakfast Show in 2014, Johnson said, quote, "I think it took about 10 or 11 hours or something, and they took this tumor out of me. This tumor weighed 3 kilos. That's the size of a baby. I've been carrying this
man,
thing on stage with me all year. My guitar used to stick out. My guitar used to rock on this tumor. That sucks. Rocking away like a rocker. So no, I shouldn't be here at all," end quote.
mm.
So, thankfully, because he had that diagnosis, and
Right.
he got to, fortunately, he got a clean bill of health. He had the surgery, got a clean bill of health. He got another 10 years out of it. So I mean, so that was good. And it's always, of course, it's always good to hear when someone is able to beat cancer. So not trying to bring the show down or anything, but I'm actually in Michigan right now because I
Yeah.
just lost my grandmother to cancer. So it sucks. But it's always nice to hear when someone's able to overcome that. So good for him. And, he was still able to, experience, a little bit of an extension to his career. So that was good for him. So, but, that being said, still, thoughts to the family. And,
I wanted to, I didn't want to bring that up until you did. So I don't want to say I appreciate you still, doing the show and pushing through.
Oh yeah.
Doing it for the people that do listen to us. That's awesome of you to push through it. So
yeah,
I know I appreciate it. I'm sure they do too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate that too. So
all right, my first one is over from Loudwire. This was kind of interesting. Guns N' Roses has been on a tour in Australia this week. Maybe hidden intent should go out there and take over that show. But
yeah, that'd be okay.
Yeah, including a show on the American holiday of Thanksgiving. But there was one thing frontman Axl Rose was not thankful for in that Thursday night show. In it, he calls out the rogue drone operators that were seen overhead at their show at the 27,500 person Metricon Stadium in Gold Coast, Australia that night, with Rose labeling them as intrusive and telling them to take their toys somewhere else. Rose's full statement reads, had a few drones this leg. Last night was probably the most intrusive. It was a bit of a distraction as obviously someone thought it was just okay to be doing that, but also it coming that close in front of the stage and actually over in on the stage. He continued, according to the police, it happens more often than not lately, especially with sporting events. It's not something we're all that used to. A lot of impulse reactions went through everyone's minds that after thinking about it, which when you're live, there's really no time to really sort things out like that. Didn't make much sense. Rose then added, people were pissed. However much fun anyone's having, you're still trying to stay focused in doing your job and giving the fans the best show you can. Anyway, we get it. Be fun to get your drone bootleg. I don't know what the fuck. He's got like they saying B and they don't spell it out, and then
he's doing that shorthand shit.
Yeah, in and it's in apostrophe. Like what the fuck. Anyway, thank God you're a musician,
right? Yeah,
because definitely probably could have made it as a professor. But we get it. It can be fun to get your drone bootleg video, but we'd appreciate it if anyone planning to be a drone pirate took the fans and the band into consideration and played with your toys somewhere else. Big thank you in advance. Several of the singers chimed in agreeing with Rose, saying drones should be banned and noting restrictions in various countries. United States, the policy around concerts is still undefined. There's current legislature on the table that aims to revise the FAA policy to issue temporary flight restrictions for sporting events to extend to all events at a stadium, including concerts. Per Congress.gov, of course, you got to bring politics in the shit. Anyway,
good luck with that.
Yeah, right. The measure was introduced in 2019, but it's still in limbo. The FAA still just lists sporting events as being prohibited events on their website. Guns N' Roses have a few days off before resuming their Australian tour on the 27th and wrap it up on December 10th. The show last night sounds like it at least turned out okay. As Slash posted on Twitter, Go Coast crowd was fucking great tonight. Many thanks for the awesome reception. You all were fucking brilliant. Cheers. So I guess Slash, probably couldn't see the drone for all the hair in his face, but
right, yeah, yeah. Of course, I mean, granted, a lot of bands couldn't do this, but I mean, Guns N' Roses, they're still a pretty huge name, and they probably got the money. You know what you do is, I mean, pay a couple of sharpshooters to pick one or two of them off out of the sky, and maybe it'd be like, hey, maybe we shouldn't fly our drones over the concert.
So the thing is, like, when I go to these festivals, I notice a lot of these photographers use drones to get up close to the stage, so they don't have to get up there and damage their equipment. You know what I mean? And get caught in a mosh or something and break their cameras and all that good shit. Mm-hmm. So I do see them flying drones up to the stage, getting pictures and stuff of the bands as a photographer. So you're gonna have to like write that in to where
Well, then you basically gotta get that predetermined beforehand with the understanding that, hey, there will be 1 or 2 around the stage at like predetermined parts of the set. That way they're not in your face the whole time. You're like, all right, during like this song and this song and this song, you can get footage, but then you got to piss off.
But I think what he's saying though, I don't think that was the case with what he was saying. I think somebody was actually outside of the stadium flying their,
I guarantee
drone in there trying to get shows that trying to get buy a damn ticket. You want to see it? I mean,
right. I guarantee you that's who he was referencing.
Oh well, yeah.
I'm totally on his side as far as that goes.
Yeah, I'm just saying they're going to have some kind of fine line there where where the people reporting and taking pictures and stuff can still take their pictures or whatever. But that to me, I haven't seen where any of that's really distracting at some of the shows, because they don't. If they do get up and close, they're usually like the stage is here and it's usually down shooting up, so it's not like in their viewpoint when they're looking out. So I mean,
maybe not
for the photographers that I've seen anyway. I've been pretty respectful in that sense. So,
the professional photographers are going to be
right.
Yeah, the pros are going to be.
Yeah, and like I said, I always thought that too. When I was like, who the hell gets drones in here? And then having to notice at a lot of these festivals where I'm looking back, and the photographer's got he's got the lanyard on and he's down there prepping his stuff up, and he's flying up there and he's shooting. He's looking through his camera while he's flying it. He's like, taking pictures. So, Victor just posted he's heading out to Chicago for another live stream. Man, I guess busy man. Like,
he is. And Victor, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Amon Amarth show, right? Because I think he told us last week he was headed.
Yeah,
he was headed up for the Amon Amarth show. I think that's what he said. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna. We will definitely share that live stream.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because Amon Amarth is one of those bands I've yet to see, so I would like to actually check that out. But for those of you,
he said yes. That was it.
There you go. So once again, for those of you who may not have caught this before, our friend Victor, he's got a Facebook group of his own called Rockin' Heavy, where he travels around. He lives in Nashville, so he lives a little bit further north in Tennessee than we do. So he lives in Nashville. He's been to some of the same concerts we have, so he's become a friend of ours, and he's gone down to Atlanta. He's going up to Chicago, and he allows us to share some of the live streams from that he takes, and we greatly appreciate that too. So you guys head on over to his Facebook group, Rockin' Heavy, and give him a follow. So,
like I said, he's definitely a big contributor.
Yes, he is.
And he's brought a lot of people over too, so we appreciate that too. So,
yes, he has. We greatly appreciate that.
Of course, we're nowhere near his numbers, but
I would say that our South American contingent is largely due to it's growing for sure, but it's largely due to it absolutely is.
Absolutely.
And we have a lot of great South American fans too. They follow and they follow and interact and they contribute. And hey man, metal.
There was one on the show last night, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Metal's huge in South America. It absolutely is. All right, still over at blabbermouth.net, former Alice Cooper and current Demi Lovato guitarist Nita Strauss will undergo surgery for a torn meniscus in late December. The procedure will take place 7 months after she first sustained the injury while on the road with Alice Cooper. Man, between a knee and taking a cane to the face and everything.
I know, right?
she's a fucking warrior.
She might as well be a pro wrestler at this point.
Yeah, she's a warrior, man. Earlier today, Strauss, who has been the in-house guitarist for the Los Angeles Rams football games since the team moved to SoFi Stadium in 2020, took to her Instagram to share a video update on her injury. She said, as transcribed by blabbermouth.net, quote, "I have a little knee update. For those who've been wondering, I did have my pre-op last week, and unfortunately, it didn't go exactly as I hoped it would. According to my doctor, 8 months of performing on a torn meniscus did not do me any favors. The injury has not improved, unfortunately. It's gotten worse. So surgery has had to be pushed to the end of the year after Christmas, after the last Rams game, and then it'll be a full month before I can do anything at all again. So no shows, no performing, no nothing. I'm super disappointed at that. I was hoping to already be on the mend by now, but it is what it is," end quote. Nita previously discussed her torn meniscus in October on an interview with Meltdown on Detroit's WRIF radio station, a radio station I know very well. At the time, she said, quote, "I'm babying myself right now because I've been touring with a torn meniscus since May, so I'm actually not as injury prone as I usually would be because I'm taking it a little easier. I have surgery scheduled at the end of this tour between Rams games and everything else I have going on. So right now I've been playing through the most serious injury I've ever had and really just trying to take care of that, make sure it doesn't get worse before it gets better," end quote. Asked if she has had to take cortisone shots in order to deal with the pain while performing on stage in recent months, Nita said, "I've had 2. I now can't have any more because it's too close to my surgery date. It's getting tough now, but we're making it through. All I can really do is keep it under control," she explained. "It's just the realities of running around on stage for 20 years. Every once in a while, you're going to get hurt," end quote. There you go. It kind of sums it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'll be on the shelf for a little bit, but she'll be back kicking ass at the beginning of 2023, no doubt. So
yeah, I feel for that. I actually tore my ACL, which is on the opposite side of the knee, but
yeah,
but that's that it's I mean it's rough, but that MCL is a little bit, like I said, you guys in your bend and everything, that's right there at your bend and everything, so so it's a little bit excruciating. I know my wife had to have that done, and then my wife messed up and did both of her knees at the same time. So
well at the same time, your wife is never one to half-ass anything. So
well, that's true. So I guess, but it was almost it's almost like you have these sports guys that are just itching to get back and do stuff, and she's just like, I'm not sitting here for hey Dana, what's going on?
Hey, good morning, Dana. Another one of our metalhead friends from Metal and Pets.
Yeah,
Yes.
Follow those guys too. They have a lot of stuff coming up.
Yeah, they
too.
do. Yes, they do.
A lot of shows they're pushing too. Dana's a manager, promoter, entrepreneur. I guess I don't know if, but he actually has a lot of his bands on a Nashville show coming up. So I've seen that. So.
Man of many hats.
Yes. So that's another thing I want to try to do next year. I think is I told my wife we were kind of like laying off the festivals for a year or so, and then I wanted to catch more local stuff, since that's kind of
it's a great idea.
Kind of what we do is we try to like go out and find these newer bands that nobody have heard of and blah blah blah. So.
Dana, you're not giving yourself enough credit. He's just a guy. You're more than just a guy with a Facebook group, my friend. So.
Yeah, a Facebook group with thousands of people on it. So,
but yeah, we actually do have feelers out to a couple of live acts. Yeah. And so we are working on it. We're not gonna mention anybody by name until things are a little bit more solidified, but we are working on it.
All right, this next story is over from Metal Hammers. It's kind of what we were just talking about a minute ago, so this might go a little long, but not one of our favorite bands, but it's definitely kind of showing the topic we were just talking about. So, despite Ghost winning the favorite rock album category of the 2022 AMAs for their current album Impera earlier this week, it appears that the award organizers are a tad confused as to who exactly they are. Judging by the photo they used to identify these Swedish occult rockers at the ceremony staged at the Microsoft Theater in LA in Los Angeles on November 20th. A keen-eye Ghost fan spotted at the AMA team were using a press photo of Los Angeles trap rockers Love Ghost to indicate the seats where Tobias Forge's band would be seated at the event, and now fellow Ghost fans are outraged over the mistake, which they say shows a blatant lack of respect for the group. The mishap was spotted by a fan who posted an image of the incorrect photo on Reddit, writing, "Ghost won an AMA. It's too bad that their award wasn't televised. Ghost has seats at the AMAs, so they, or at least Tobias, should be there. They got the photo on their seating at the AMAs wrong, though. The photo used was from a band called Love Ghost." In response, one fan's question was, "How do you even mess up this band? What the fuck, AMAs?" While another fiercely declares, "Wow, just wow, they didn't get the best and the brightest for the AMAs, did they? This is pretty hard to fuck up, but they managed. I think it's pretty fucking disrespectful. Reporters didn't bother to learn the artist's name, Mr. Ghost. then
Mr. Ghost. Yeah.
it's Mr. Ghost.
Yeah.
Then get the picture of Ghost so wrong when imagery is such a huge part of the music. Um, he he won his category and they didn't get anything right. Do better, dumbasses. Sorry, it just irritates me. One commenter even proposes a reason for the screw up, suggesting I guess they didn't want the masked pictures and assumed they were them. They were them unmasked. LMAO. Fans also took to Twitter to show their disapproval, with the most bewildered and annoyed over the fact that Forge traveled a long way to attend the ceremony and yet received such little acknowledgement from the company based upon the aforementioned gaffes. Um, Genuinely disappointed with how Tobias Forge was treated at the AMAs. This man flew all the way from Europe to be called Mr. Ghost or Ghost, not not have his award televised, and then they put a photo of the wrong group on his chair. Tobias deserves the world. He's worked so hard. To add injury to insult, or insult to injury, sorry, add insult to injury. During his red carpet appearance, Tobias Forge was referred to by a photographer as a Mr. Ghost, which, although amusing, has further irritated fans who believe it was another instance of the company not caring about the rock album winners. That's one thing we've talked about on here many times is them, the Grammys, all these people
Mm-hmm.
are so out of touch with. I mean, surely you got this kind of money to do this show. You can have somebody that knows something about the fucking genre
Mm-hmm.
come on here and be like, okay, this is who they are. This is, I don't get that at all. Like, we're not a biggest Ghost fan, but obviously, if we've seen Ghost, we know who the fuck Ghost is. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it's not, it's like, it's not, you know, it's like it's not secretive. I mean, it's out there. I've seen Tobias without makeup. He's done
Mm-hmm.
YouTube. He's done YouTube videos without makeup. So it's
Yeah.
not.
So I mean, yeah. Tobias Forge is not out there trying to like do what Kiss did for so many years, and then what Slipknot did for so many years before they finally
Yeah.
unmasked. So Tobias isn't out there trying to be like, oh, what do I really look like? No, he's not trying to do that. I mean, I've seen his face. I've seen his regular, his normal, face. I don't know how many times. The only people that you don't know for sure what they look like are the nameless ghouls, but that's the whole thing.
Right.
They're supposed to be nameless ghouls.
Right.
But still, I mean, here's the thing though. You know what Tobias should do now? He should do a Mike Myers and be say, it's Dr. Ghost. I didn't go to evil ghost college to be called Mr. Thank you very much. He should do that shit. He should totally lean into the skid. But
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I'm sure there'll be something coming from retaliation from him because he's.
I hope so. I do.
He is kind of one of those entertainers that doesn't take stuff like that very lightly, and we'll get back at him sarcastically, I'm sure. So,
and I kind of hope he does. I will say this. I don't have a problem with Ghost winning the rock category.
Right, exactly.
I don't have a problem with that because I don't think Ghost is metal. I don't.
Me
So I
either.
don't have a problem with them winning the rock category. I will say that. But not having somebody in your organization, you have a year to plan this shit.
Right.
You have a year to plan this shit, to pay attention to what's going on in the industry as a whole. You should have 1, 2, 5 people dedicated to paying attention to each genre in the industry. That shit should not happen.
Well, the thing that pisses me
At
off
all.
too is this happens every year. It's not televised. That's what pisses me off too.
Well, that's another thing.
It's like, okay, why? I mean, because you think pop and hip hop carry music. I mean, that's no, that's not really. I mean, I guess it's kind of true, but it's not true. I mean, because if you think about it, you look at some of the greatest songs that you could probably pick out a song right now that's top of the charts this year in hip hop, and you look at who wrote it, and there's going to be multiple people on that song, and then you're going to look at the lyrics and be like, why? Because it's just like I think we this goes back to I hate bringing this fucking thing, but it goes back to like Justin Bieber had that song and all they said was baby 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 in the motherfucker for like 30 fucking minutes, and there was like 12 people that wrote this stupid ass song. And then you got somebody like Freddie Mercury from Queen that writes all of his own shit, and is you listen to it and you be like, damn, one dude wrote this. But it just amazes me that they don't get the respect they deserve because of things like that. It's not that we're thinking we're better than any other music genre. We just this is another thing. Like we're in a nation and a time of equality. Like, you know, everything's got to be equal here, equal there. You know, everybody gets their fucking, you know, way with their rights and shit, but the rock industry still gets shit on, which is bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
Dan would be proud right now, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like, you know, if everything is so up and up and everybody's supposed to be on level playing fields, then make the fucking show longer and put the fucking rock category on TV. Like, I mean, damn, it's like, you got the money. Like, like, Jesus fucking Christ, man.
Here's the thing you could do, even if you don't want to make the show longer, because if you ask me, I don't watch any of these award shows. I don't watch I hate award shows. I don't even watch the Metal Hammer Golden God Awards. And as big of a hockey fan as I am, I don't watch the NHL awards at the end of the year, because I think they're all overinflated and pompous and way too fucking long. Yeah. So what you could do is, if you're worried about making the show too long, just cut out like some of the performances, or cut out all of the performances. Just hand out the fucking awards and let everybody get their moment. Let everybody get their moment. Let every category you're awarding, let the winner get up and accept their award and be seen.
Just do like do a Ricky Gervais type of award show where you just like, just come up, take your award. Don't think think of whoever your God and whoever the hell helped it. Get the fuck off the stage. We don't care about your political views and none of this other shit. Just do your thing and get the fuck off. Which was awesome, by the way.
Oh, I wish Ricky Gervais was the host of every award show.
Yeah,
I'd probably watch a few.
And I always loved the fact that he, I never watched the show until afterwards. Somebody shared that part with me and said, "Oh, you got to check out Ricky Gervais's, speeches and stuff on here." And I was listening to it, and I thought, man, this dude's fucking crazy, because he was just like, "It's my last year. I don't give a shit." It's like, I'm not doing it again. Who cares? Like,
yeah, he kept saying that. He's like, I'm not coming. He kept saying, he's like, "I'm not coming back. I don't care." He's like,
yeah. Which they thought was part of like the show, but I think he was really being sincere about it. That's what was so funny. I actually watched Russell Brand talk about that, and he's like, "Yeah, it's so funny that he was talking about having the accents. He said it's so funny having the British accents. It's a lot of times people don't know when you're being sincere, when you're not." He said, "Let me tell you, Ricky Gervais was definitely being a smart ass." I was like, wow.
Yeah. But I loved it.
Which he's a funny guy too. Russell Brand, if you don't follow that guy, check him out sometimes.
Russell Brand's funny. Yes, Dana said Ghost is a good rock band. They only look metal. That's
true.
That's true.
That is about as accurate as you can get. So.
Yeah, and I'm not 100% sure who put this on, because like I say, if anyone is like, because like Victor lets us know who he is and Dana lets us know who he is, because on our little chat dashboard here, all we can see is it just says Facebook user. So that's
because whoever is on here is not given StreamYard
right, and that's
their Facebook stuff.
Yeah, and that's fine. So we just want anyone.
We're not trying to make
anyone who's. Yeah, anyone who's like listening and if we mention a comment, and we do try to acknowledge every comment, but if we don't know, if we don't shout you guys out by name, just know that we're not doing it on purpose. So because all it says is Facebook.
You can still like put the comment like Dana and them do and just dash your name out.
Right. Yeah. So there's a comment here that says. Yeah, there's a comment here that says Ghost, great band, melodic and the same time strong. They have great numbers and fanatics, and they do. They do.
Yeah, they have a great fan base.
They absolutely do. They have a huge following, and like I said, I have no problem with them winning, in the rock category, because I think that's more of where they belong than in the heavy metal category. So so I think I definitely think that they deserve to win in the rock category. That being said, I don't even know who the other nominees were. Yeah, I don't know who the other nominees were, but with the year that Ghost has had, then I don't really need to know the other nominees to know that Ghost probably did deserve to win in the rock category. Now,
that's my sis Rosemary. Okay,
there you go. All right, so Rosemary, thank you. Appreciate that. So now that being said, you want to move over to the AMA metal category?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh boy. Okay, let me see.
Gotta blast them for that shit too, probably. So
Let's see. Let me see, because I'm gonna have to look it up because I don't remember the entire. I don't remember the entire category. All I remember off the top of my head without looking is I know Megadeth was nominated. And yes, Megadeth got 4 nominations. Ozzy got a couple of nominations. That was from Dana. Yeah. So Megadeth was nominated for the song We'll Be Back. I don't think they got nominated for the album, which is a shame in and of itself. Ozzy was nominated for the album. So Patient Number 9 was nominated. Oh, crap. I wish I would. I should have done my goddamn homework. I'm sorry about that, guys. I mean, I've had a little bit of a rough week, but
well, I mean, in our defense, we weren't planning on talking about this part.
Well, that's exactly true. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, so they have the.
Right, so to go. Ghost was going against Imagine Dragons, Machine Gun Kelly, and Red Hot Chili Peppers. So
and Coldplay. And Coldplay.
Coldplay. Oh yeah, they were in there. Sorry, I missed that one. Yes.
Yeah. So given that list of nominees, they got that one right. I think they got that one right.
Well, I mean, now, that list of nominees are, no walks in the parks. I mean, they're there's a big name bands, even though we don't follow those guys.
Right.
I mean, Red Hot Chili Peppers was around since we were growing up. So, I mean, they've been around a long time. So,
but at the same, so yeah, they've had a career, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now here's my question: is Coldplay a rock band?
No, not really.
No, I mean, that's the thing.
So the thing is, like we talk about this, the genres are so there's like so many genres though. That's the thing, is like they have to combine these things, or they would have, like I said, you have 17 genres of metal being represented at fucking AMAs. And like, to me, they kind of put soft rock and hard rock and all that kind of in the same category. So like if we were growing up, we would have, say, Def Leppard in the same category as a I don't know, Peter Gabriel or something, but which are two totally different types of music.
Yeah.
But that's just the way they do that, and that's why they do that. And like with pop music and stuff, it's a little bit different, because I mean there's not as many branches out of genres to pop and hip hop, so and rap. I mean, if rap's even still a thing anymore, it seems like hip hop's just kind of pushed rap to the back burner. But Grammy nominees for Best Metal Performance were Ghost, Turnstile, Muse, oh my God, Megadeth, and Ozzy, which 2 bands out of the whole thing are metals.
Yeah, you got 2 out of 5. When you consider the amount of albums from the big name bands that have come out this year, that just off the top of my head, without looking back at some of our notes or anything, you got Megadeth and Ozzy in there. Fine. Perfect. You could have had, should have had Lamb of God. You should have had, Machine Head. You should have had Slipknot. Those could have been your 5 nominees. And I don't think anyone would have argued that the metal category was bullshit, because that metal category is bullshit.
That is bullshit. Yeah.
And I don't even know who won. I don't know who won.
I think Ghost won that too. So. Another one of those Jethro Tull winnings there.
Okay, here are the nominees for Best Rock Song. Brandi Carlile with Broken Horses.
Who?
Brandi Carlile. Ozzy Osbourne. Ozzy. Is
that like Belinda Carlisle's daughter or something? I don't even know.
For all I know, it could be. Then we had Ozzy for Patient Number 9. Right. Red Hot Chili Peppers with Black Summer, Turnstile with Blackout, and The War on Drugs. With Harmonious Dream. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
I have no idea either.
And again, I don't know who won. Best Rock Album, The Black Keys, Elvis Costello and the Imposters, Idols, Machine Gun Kelly, Ozzy Osbourne, and Spoon.
They are so out of touch, dude. So out of touch. That's because they're looking at some damn Billboard chart that, probably not even the right Billboard chart, for one.
Probably not. And then And
they're
then
probably looking at it. They're probably looking at it as a whole and not as a rock genre. Because I mean, if you look at a billboard, like a metal billboard, then you're going to have those bands, Lamb of God, Slipknot, all those we just talked about are going to be on there. I mean, that's just the way it is. Billboard's a lot better in touch with the genre than most.
Oh, it's a much better barometer because it goes by the actual numbers. I mean, they have we've talked about their formula of how they determine gold and platinum and all that shit in the RIAA, but so you can kind of be like, well, you could debate on whether or not their math makes any sense because it's 1,500 on-demand streams counts as one unit, which I think is kind of bullshit. But
it is bullshit, yeah.
But at the same time, the billboard is a little bit more of an accurate barometer of who's doing well and who's who should kind of be doing what. But I mean, the AMAs, their favorite rock artist category: Imagine Dragons, Machine Gun Kelly, Main Skin, Red Hot Chili Peppers, and the Lumineers. And Machine Gun Kelly won.
Oh my God. Well, that's just because they're trying to push a narrative on the people that Machine Gun Kelly is a rock artist, and I have people that like Machine Gun Kelly and bought the album and said it sucked. So you got people that like it. You got people that like it but said it sucked. So I'm just saying.
All I needed to know about Machine Gun Kelly's rocker career was summed up when he did his cover of Aerials. That's all I needed to hear. And he's already quit and gone back to hip hop. Yeah. He's already quit.
I said this before. The best rock thing that Machine Gun Kelly's ever done was play Tommy Lee. Other than that, he ain't done shit. So, which I didn't think he did a bad job playing Tommy Lee. I would give him that.
Well, yeah, I'll give him that. He did a good job. He did a good job playing that role. He
definitely is not a rocker. So.
No,
I guess Eminem allowed him back into the rap. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess you can come back.
Yeah. Eminem was like, "Say you're sorry. Say you're sorry.
Wear this punk card around your neck for."
Yeah. Oh. That should have been one of the conditions on his readmittance. Yeah. I love it. Dana right here. He said about Ghost being a metal band. He just said nope in all caps.
Well, I mean, it's true. Like I said, it's not that we're dissing his talents or anything. I mean, they're talented. We just always agree that they're not a metal band. It's just like, and we do talk about hard rock bands on here a lot, but it's not that, it's because it's interesting. The stories are interesting, I guess. But, just like the Nickelback story, we don't talk about Nickelback on here that much, but then there's a reason why, because 90% of the time they're not hard rock. So there's something, they're lost in some damn kind of getting girls out of their t-shirts music, or some bullshit. I don't know. But it's more ballady stuff these days, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But
and again, I think that was actually for Coldplay. Oh, well, okay. Well, yeah, Coldplay's not a rock band either. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I think I misspoke there, Dana. Thank you for correcting me. Appreciate it.
Well, I mean, hell, even Imagine Dragons would be listed as a rock band before Coldplay. So.
Yeah. And I have a hard time making a case for that too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like it is what it is. So
yeah. But see, that's the thing is like this is just me. It's not even. I'm not even speaking for the show. This is just me. I wouldn't even consider Ghost a hard rock band either. That's why I say, that's just me.
I think they have their moments and times where you could say, yeah, that's just pretty hard. But
they do have. I would say they do have moments. I will even confess I actually do like the song Rats. I do just something about the groove in it that I like. But do I go out and listen to Ghost? No, I don't. But when that song came out, it was kind of it was all over the place for a minute. So it was on YouTube and it was on 1029 The Buzz, who we shit on at length. So so it was on the local rock station. So
Well, if you want to,
I ended up liking the song. Okay,
man,
but
if you really want to hear something like interesting that would kind of goes along with some of the stuff that we've been talking about for our shows, is I actually seen on an Octane group where they were talking about how the Octane radio station has went to shit. Like no, like there's a lot of people that are dissing their ass for some of the shit they're playing, and it's not that they're playing bad music. It's just so repetitive. Just like anything else. It's just you have to like give people. I understand you want to like get the new stuff out there, but you don't have to play it every hour on the hour. Which even I'm an Ice Nine Kills fan, but they were talking about how they played one of their new songs like every hour on the hour for like 24 hours. I'm like, dude, that's just too much. I mean, I'm a fan.
That's how songs get ruined.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear that 24 times every hour on the hour. I mean, I understand you trying to get it out there, but that's just too much. I mean, you gotta have some kind of limitations there.
Yeah. Because I know you and I remember, we are of the age where back in the day when all we had was like the radio to listen to,
right?
You would be excited for when a favorite song came on the
air.
You'd be like, oh shit, there it is, and then you would be, but instead now
you used to have to have that blank tape in there ready to hit record.
Right. Well, yeah, you did. Yeah, you absolutely did. Yeah. So, and I know some of our fellow metalheads out there are also of the age where they remember that, all right, hit play now, or hit record now, So I mean, so back in the day, it was like an exciting thing when you finally got to hear, the hit song on the radio. Now, like you just said, you can time it like clockwork, and they just Headbangers Ball too. Also, yes. So.
But I think Headbangers Ball was one of those things where I learned a lot. It's kind of like what we do is I learned a lot about bands that I never heard of on Headbangers Ball.
Right.
And so we laugh about Beavis and Butthead, but Beavis and Butthead did the same thing. Without Beavis and Butthead, I would never know about White Zombie. I don't know about anybody else, but I mean, there's a lot of other bands on there that they would look at videos and stuff. I'm like, damn, who's that?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was cool to have those outlets that kind of gave you some kind of underground music that you didn't hear on the radio all the time. And Headbangers Ball definitely did that because you would never hear Nuclear Assault or Death Angel or none of that on the radio.
Yeah. Biohazard, all those other.
None of that was on the radio. It was like but should have been, but it wasn't.
Well, it absolutely should have been. But.
It may have been in like bigger markets like L.A. or New York or something, but not in small town areas for sure. I mean, Nashville is a big market. Don't get me wrong, but you still only have one rock station, and like I said, half the time they only half-ass play rock. So
right, yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like you said. If you're a rock station, you should be aware of the songs that you play. And you should
especially if you're constantly boasting about being a city's rock station.
And then you should be like, oh shit, they played that on the River, which is a pop hip hop station. I probably shouldn't be playing at that.
Right.
But I don't know if they get paid to play or whatever. Yes, Biohazard did just announce a reunion. Yeah, we talked about that last week. It was pretty good. So.
Yeah, the original lineup too.
Originally, awesome. It's gonna be pretty cool. I think they're gonna do a couple festivals. I know for sure. So
they have a couple set up for next August already. So there's going to be more from them too. So
unfortunately, God forbid, which I kind of caught them at the Blue Ridge. They were saying they're not going to do anything new for right now, but they are going to do some handful of shows next year. So it's cool. It's cool that they're still trying to like get their rhythm back and get back into the groove of things. So hopefully some big things come from that too. And then of course Shadows Fall already talking about recording. So
I'm so excited about that.
So that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. See what I like about these bands that are getting back together. Like you mentioned, God forbid, Biohazard's getting back together. Shadows Fall is back together. Right. Mudvayne is back together. What I like is like and Kitty got back together at Blue Ridge. So what I like, there's two things that I like about it at the same time. One, they're back together, and two, they're not jumping back in with both feet.
Right.
They're letting things progress at a steady pace. That way they don't get too far ahead of themselves. They none of depending on the band, nothing from the past creeps back up and ends up being like something incendiary, and then the band just decide the
Right.
band just, this is why we broke up the first time or some shit like that.
True.
So let things kind of just move forward. Take one event, take one festival, take one gig at a time, see how it goes. Don't just go full speed ahead and you just end up running into a brick wall again. And then like, we should have known better, so.
Which goes back to like what we were talking about with Hidden Intent last night, because they're a 3-piece. So they're when you got lesser people in the band, there's less egos to go around. So,
right.
That's one thing you have to look at too when you're, like I said, you're looking at like Mushroom Head and these bands with like, 9-piece people, Slipknot, you got, 6 people, 7 people, whatever.
Yeah.
You get those type, people you're going to clash because you have so many different, type of mentality there. So eventually something's going to clash. So.
And a lot of these musicians, especially in this genre, there are a lot of type A personalities anyway.
Oh yeah.
So there's gonna be clashes, and there's gonna be some disagreements. So the more, obviously, like you said, the more people you have, just by the law of averages, that's gonna happen more often than. Of course, you would think in a band like Spirit Adrift or Hidden Intent like that, where okay, something happened between the 3 of us. Let's hash this shit out, and then you can hash it out and you move on. And you mentioned Mushroom Head. I mean, they've gone through a lot of lineups.
Yeah.
They really have, and they've had quality people leave that band.
Yeah,
they really have.
I know one of them came back during the Blue Ridge. I think he's back in the band now. I can't remember
Is he really?
Yeah, and I can't remember which one it was, but it was pretty cool to see somebody come back into the band. But Jeffrey Nothing, has come forward and talked about his alcoholism and drug addictions and stuff like that. And he is a born again Christian now, so I mean that has a lot to do with maybe him being like, okay, let's just do this, work this stuff out, let's get everything back together. Because I mean, people can believe what they want to believe, but like I said, he obviously felt like he was touched by the Spirit and hashed his life out, straightened it out, and he actually does speakings and stuff too. I've seen where he does a lot of speakings for that. So it's good. Like, and that's one of the things I was going to talk about is you not only have those mentalities and stuff in there and egos, you also have drugs and alcohol and stuff like that plays a big part, especially when you're in a rock band. So that adds on to a lot of the problems. So all right, I guess we can swing back on topic here now. So.
Yeah, and speaking of award shows or Hall of Fames, we actually have we got some good news. Still over at Blabbermouth, Twisted Sisters classic lineup of Dee Snider, J.J. French, Eddie Ojeda, Mark Mendoza, and late drummer A.J. Para will be inducted into the Metal Hall of Fame at the 6th Annual Charity Gala set to take place January 26, 2023 at the Canyon Club in Agora Hills, California. Metal Hall of Fame President CEO Pat Gesualdo said, quote, the 2023 Metal Hall of Fame Charity Gala is going to be an amazing event as always. There will be numerous legendary hard rock and heavy metal artist inductions and many exciting surprises and performances. End quote. Added French, quote, Twisted Sister is honored to be recognized by the Metal Hall of Fame and have our names alongside many of our peers, end quote. A special Rakavaca meet and greet with Snider, Rakavaca's brand ambassador, will take place after the induction ceremony, where limited edition Snider numbered Rakavaca bottles will be made available for purchase and signing. Additional hard rock and heavy metal icon inductees, performances, all-star jams, and other surprises for the 2023 Metal Hall of Fame Charity Gala will be announced over the next few weeks. And obviously, of course, we will definitely pass those along to you as they come out, because if anyone's going to get it right, these guys will get it right.
Yeah, so. Hopefully. Yeah. So.
Well, that's true. So far so good for this year's class.
So far so good as far as the bands are putting in, but not so good on the damn time that they've waited to do it. So
that's true. That's true. I don't think any.
You're talking close to 50 fucking years with a Twisted Sister, and they're just now getting.
Yeah. Well, I don't think any of these organizations is ever going to be perfect. But,
no, but I still think that there's, you don't wait till a band's been around 50 fucking years to.
That's true.
I mean, they've obviously made their mark. They haven't made new music in probably 20. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so anyway, this was over from Metal Hammer. So Finnish symphonic metal heavyweights Nightwish are having a hell of a month with a blockbuster arena tour currently making its way across Europe, bolstered by the welcome news that frontwoman Flora Jensen is now thankfully cancer free.
Yep.
Now the band have been pleasantly surprised to find out one of their songs has been used in a recent episode of the all-conquering American animated family series, The Simpsons. The song used,
Yep.
Yours is an Empty Hope, is taken from the 2015 Nightwish album Endless Forms Most Beautiful, which was the first record by the band to feature Flora on vocals, following her initial stint playing with Nightwish Live. The song makes an unlikely appearance during The Simpsons' latest episode, which was broadcast in the U.S. this past Sunday, November 20th, titled Stepbrother from the Same Planet. It serves as the 8th episode of season 34 of the Unstoppable show and the 736th Simpsons episode overall. Jesus Christ!
I know that's a lot.
Yeah, I think they're going to get to 1,000. I think they're going to make it.
Oh, I think they'll get there. I think they'll get there easily.
Yeah. According to an official synopsis of the episode, Homer is stunned by his feelings of rage and resentment when Grandpa becomes a doting stepfather to his girlfriend's quirky young son. Meanwhile, Lisa and Bart throw the ultimate slumber party. So I guess they were partying it up with Nightwish. So
yeah,
yeah, good for them. It's so crazy to like. And actually, I'll talk about this in the history, but. The Simpsons has had so many rock,
yes, they have
people on, rock bands on the show are being, represented on the show. So,
and we've talked about it. We've talked about it before. How for all the disrespect we've talked about from like these organizations who recognize achievement and excellence and awards and all that shit. For all of that goes on, it's amazing at how heavy metal permeates into the mainstream and TV shows and movies and all this other shit. We've talked about it before, man. Heavy metal really is everywhere, even though some organizations don't want to acknowledge it or admit it.
Right. It'd be cool to do an episode with the scientist like dude with the little dready looking hair.
Oh yeah, and the thick ass glasses. Yeah.
Yeah. Randy Blythe be like his brother or something.
That would be awesome.
They play redneck at a party or something.
Yeah. Oh, that would be great.
Like a birthday party for one of his relatives, and then Randy
or like or like if he comes out with like a scientific discovery and he's about to and he's getting recognized for an award or at a show or something. He's like, yeah, my cousin Randy's in town. So. Yeah. That would be awesome. Great. That would be so great.
You heard it here first, so I won't.
That's right.
I won't credit.
Yeah, yeah. Matt Groening. Yeah, we want credit for that. Let's see. All right, still over. I'm just gonna let you know. I'm like all. I'm pretty much all blabbermouth.net this week. So. Not for lack of trying.
I thought you were going to say you just saw Blabbermouth this week.
Well, that too. Yep, absolutely. It's fitting. Yeah, it's fitting. Absolutely. All right. So on the heels of Motley Crue's highly successful The Stadium tour with Def Leppard and playing to over 1 million fans in North America this year, BMG announced today being November 23rd, the release of the limited edition set Crucial Crew, the studio albums 81 to 89, featuring Motley Crue's first 5 platinum-selling landmark albums pressed on colored vinyl: Too Fast for Love in white with a black splatter, Shout at the Devil, yellow with a black splatter, Theater of Pain, hot pink magenta, black splatter, Girls, 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 cyan blue, splatter with hepatitis. No, that's not right. Cyan blue with black splatter, and Dr. Feelgood, Coke bottle green, oxblood splatter.
Got an album with ski on it.
Right. Housed in a solid black slipcase with foil imprint and only available in this box set. The Crucial Crew box set will also be released on CD with only 10,000 units of each configuration available globally. Crucial Crew, the studio albums 81 to 89, includes Motley Crue's first 5 platinum-selling albums and features some of their massive hits and essential Crew tracks. And then it gives you a breakdown of each one that we're not going to get into. That's way too way too long-winded. So yeah, after a highly successful U.S. tour, Motley Crue and Def Leppard will once again reteam for the World Tour in 2023, hitting Latin America in February and March, and the UK and Europe in May, June, and July. So yeah.
Actually, I'm glad you brought up Motley Crue. That's actually a what if episode I want to do. So,
All right.
Sometime in the near future.
Yeah.
Especially when we get to where we're not doing the history as much next year. So
yeah. Dana says metal is a worldwide metal is worldwide, metal is family, metal is a way of life, and he's absolutely right on all three. And let's see. So I think I posted about nuclear. And I'm not 100% sure who this is. Like I said,
I think that's Victor.
Is it Victor? Oh,
I think so. I think he's the one. I think he's the one that posted that. So
I think you might be right. It says I think I posted about Nuclear Assault, the thrash metal band that is gone forever. They are no more, and I think they shut down their Facebook page. You're right, Victor. They did. Got lucky enough to see them a few months ago at the Decibel Metal and Beer Festival in Philadelphia. Yeah. So yeah, Nuclear Assault did finally decide to call it quits. You know, they were formed in 1985, and they had at least one hiatus during their career, but yeah, they decided to pack it in. So but yeah, you know, 37 years is a pretty decent career. So, you know, but it does suck when a band breaks up, and then, you know, being the thrash metal fans that we are, and I know a lot of us here at Metalheads Unite are, you know, Victor and Dana, everybody. So yeah, it's sad when another one leaves. So it sucks.
Well, it kind of leads up into this story. A segue for days, right?
Yeah, segues for days.
And I'm actually hoping, oh God, please let this happen. But this is over from Metal Hammer. Dave Mustaine wants to be part of another concert in celebration of the Big Four, aka the top thrash metal bands that are considered to be the godfathers of the genre, namely Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, and Anthrax. For the Megadeth leaders' plan to work, however, LA metal heavyweight Slayer must come out of retirement and reform, with Tom Araya and Kerry King's band having already completed their farewell tour and disbanded in 2019. Speaking of the concert series, which was last held across 2010 and 2011, Mustaine tells Songfacts how he'd like to recruit a new squad of bands to perform alongside of the original Big Four as sort of a ceremony to pass the torch, which I think is fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Although the frontman didn't classify who he regards as the modern Big Four, he noted previously in an interview how he views arch enemies Michael Lamont, Nevermore's Jeff Loomis, plus the guys from Lamb of God and the guys from Trivium as admirable guitarists. I really think it's time for the guys in Metallica to step up and do one last round to see if we can get Slayer to come out of retirement and do a Big Four passing the torch to the new Big Four, he explains. It would remain to be seen who they are, but I have a feeling it would include some of the players we already mentioned. While elaborating on the possible logistics of the concert, Mustaine continues, I think it would be really cool symbolically if we did something like the LA Coliseum, even if it's a one show and that's it. Slayer is from Los Angeles, so it would probably make it more convenient for them to go straight home after the show. I personally have been hoping for this for a while, and I keep asking. They're just not into it, but that's up to them. Judging by the fact that Mustaine's Big Four concert idea has reared its head frequently over the last few years, and that his old pals Metallica, easily the biggest of the Big Four, aren't biting after his insistent asking, we don't have too much confidence that the show will go ahead, but we're keeping our fingers crossed, as am I, because that is like, I will fly to LA. I ain't even lying to see that.
Hell yeah.
That'd be a road trip for sure. But and plus, I haven't been to LA in a few years, so. But
I've never been to LA other than LAX on a layover. So
yeah, so we spent a weekend out there. Actually, on 102.9 the bus. Thank you.
Of course, that was back. That was actually back when they were a little bit better of a radio station.
Well, it was actually, I won tickets from the Bracket Brawl, and it was actually tickets to go out there, and it was a ticket to a U2 show, which, I walked in, heard two songs, walked out, but it was just the experience of being in LA was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I really do hope that they get something worked out to where they can do that at least in the next couple of years.
Yeah, you know what? I actually kind of smell a poll coming on.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
I smell a poll coming on. And just real quick, Jason, are you getting any feedback in your ear?
Mm-mm.
Okay, maybe on my end. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I don't mind. I just want to make sure no one else is hearing it. So because I've got a little bit of feedback in my headphones. So if it's just on my end, I'm cool with it. I'll deal with it.
Yeah,
I didn't want it. I didn't want it going out. So all right. Okay, so my last story, I do believe anyway. Let me double check that to make sure. I'm pretty sure it's my last one. It is. Okay.
Yeah, I got two more. I got two more. So
okay, that's cool. My last one, like I say, over at blabbermouth.net. This one, you could say this one is one of those examples of it's about damn time. Knucklebones has announced that production has started on a limited edition Chuck Schuldiner rock icon statue and a Death Scream Bloody Gore 3D vinyl collectible. Both are made in an exclusive limited edition and are now available for pre-order at this location. And obviously, that's a hyperlink in the story. Right. Schuldner's nephew Chris Steele said in a statement, "quote Chuck has finally been immortalized amongst the likes of Randy Rhoads, Jimi Hendrix, Tony Iommi, and Ace Frehley. Knucklebones truly capture the essence of Chuck and what I believe to be the peak of his short but meaningful career. I, along with the rest of the Schuldiner family, are absolutely ecstatic. Let the metal flow." End quote. Knucklebones, the creator of the Rock Icons music collectible series, has been developing iconic high-quality statues of the legend of rock music since 2003. Quote, "We are so pleased to be working with the Schuldiner family to celebrate Chuck's music and legacy of metal," says Tony Simerman, CEO, creative director of Knucklebones Incorporated. "We were founded almost 20 years ago with the goal of serving music superfans, and we're very pleased to be able to create something to pay tribute to Chuck," end quote. The Death collectible bundle featuring both Chuck Schuldiner rock icons and Scream Bloody Gore 3D vinyl is now available for pre-order here, blah, blah, blah. Knucklebones is offering a limited time pre-order special for the set at $290 US. So, yeah.
Save up.
Save up.
As Killer Bees would say.
Yep.
Dana said Chuck was an awesome dude to hang out with. But man, I'm glad you got to hang with him. That's
yeah,
cool.
No kidding.
Yeah. That's
no kidding.
Cool. That's something you can't ever forget now, especially now when you get that memory of Chuck, even though he's not with us anymore. But.
Right.
All right, over at Metal Injection here. I know we don't like talking about politics too much, but I think this was going to kind of be interesting to see how this plays out. Last week, the U.S. Department of Justice announced they'd be investigating Ticketmaster over its alleged abuse of power within the entertainment industry. Now, in a new development reported by Reuters, is it Reuters or Reuters?
It's actually Reuters. That's how.
Oh, really? Reuters.
Yeah, Reuters. Okay. I know. I think it's stupid too.
Yeah.
But.
You got to stay off that stuff. You get rage.
That's right.
A U.S. Senate antitrust panel has been formed with Senator Amy Klobuchar, acting as the chair. The panel will begin hearings on a lack of competition in the ticketing industry, brought to a head by the recent Taylor Swift ticketing debacle. Get it out in a minute. The high fees, site disruptions, and cancellations that customers experienced shows how Ticketmaster's dominant market position means the company does not face any pressure to continually innovate and improve. Klobuchar. Is it Klobuchar? I don't know. Whatever her fucking name is.
I'm not sure. I'd have to see the name in print. So.
It's weird spelling. It's like a Klobuchar. So
I think she pronounces it Klobuchar, but I'm not 100%.
Klobuchar. Okay, well there you go.
Think.
Yeah. Well, I guess she drinks with her pinky out. But anyway, we will hold a hearing on how consolidation in the live entertainment and ticketing industry harms customers and artists alike. Long story short, of course, I don't like bringing up the Taylor Swift shit, but maybe it's a good thing that it happened. But 2023, the Eras Tour began pre-sale last Friday and was so popular that Ticketmaster systems crashed. The pre-sale was ultimately canceled, which resulted in tickets purchased being resold for up to $20,000. AEG Presents, who is handling the Eras Tour, recently revealed to CNBC that they had no choice but to work with Ticketmaster, almost like they have a monopoly or something. Ticketmaster exclusive deals with the vast majority of venues on the Eras Tour required us to ticket through their system. They said we didn't have a choice. I don't know. You have a choice. You just thought that you would get more out of Ticketmaster than anywhere else. But anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know Taylor Swift has nothing to do with metal, but what about the next Metallica tour? What about the next when Ghost takes things to the next level and starts to have out of control demand? And if the problem isn't addressed now, it becomes everyone's problem, but worse. Not that it isn't already insanely bad, but letting it go only amplifies it to an even more severe degree. On top of that, there's also the recent information of the breakup Ticketmaster Coalition. The coalition is made up of the American Economic Liberties Project, Sports Fans Coalition, Fight Corporate Monopolies, More Perfect Union, Fan Freedom, and the Consumer Federation of America, the National Consumers League, and the Artists' Rights Alliance, and seeks to end the company's massive hold on the ticket industry. Live Nation and Ticketmaster merged in 2010, which I forgot about until I read that. Oh, shit, they did. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Reads their website. Despite promises of increased competition and customer benefit, they now control 70% primary ticketing and live event venues market. They're hiking up ticket prices, charging rip-off junk fees, and exploiting artists, independent venues, and fans. The Department of Justice can reverse this merger and bring competition back to the industry. Help demand they do so. Well, so the only problem you're going to have here is they break it up. I mean, Ticketmaster still basically owns it. So I mean, they're just going to take their people and put it into Live Nation or whatever.
Yeah.
What was it, right? Live Nation, yeah.
Yeah, Live Nation.
I mean, they're just going to split their company up. So I mean, if you compete with your own company, you're not going to compete with your own company. Just that's just common sense.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know. I mean, I do hope something good comes out of this.
I mean, I honestly don't have a whole lot of faith that anything is going to come out of it that would benefit people like you and me, because stuff the stuff that does happen, as far as any positive steps, usually doesn't help the little guy like you and I.
Right.
So basically anything that ever happens usually just ends up benefiting the fat cats anyway.
Yeah.
So I would think that if anything comes out of it, if they just investigate all of the fees and do something about the fees that are charged, I think I'd be okay with that, because I think it's ridiculous. A ticket is $30. Okay, fine. A ticket's $30. Even if you want sales tax added onto it, that's fine. I get it, because I'm buying something, I'm buying a product, I'm buying a ticket and access to a show. That's fine. Sales tax is fine. Nobody buys, and by nobody, I'm talking in the general sense. So nobody jump down my throat. Nobody buys paper tickets anymore.
Right.
Everything is done electronically. There doesn't need to be any shipping and handling fees. There doesn't need to be any of that shit. There doesn't need to be any of that shit. So I'm buying the ticket for $30. In Tennessee, the sales tax is 9.75. That ticket shouldn't cost any more than $35.
Mm-hmm. Well, I put two tickets in my cart the other day that were $30 a piece in Ticketmaster. They was $92 out the door.
Yeah, see, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, almost a $35. It's almost the markup. The markup for the fees and stuff is more than as much as a ticket. So
basically you bought 3 tickets for the price of 2. Yeah, that's what you did.
That's bullshit.
That's bullshit. It's bullshit. And even if even if there does need to be a fee,
it needs to be a flat fee.
It should be right. It should be a flat fee.
Because if you're selling.
Because I will say that I know that Ticketmaster is still trying to run a business, and I get that.
Just say you sell 20,000 tickets though, and you're getting $5 for every ticket. I mean, you're not hurting, I don't think. So
no, you're not hurting.
I mean, damn.
And especially, like you say, especially if you're making that at every show every night, you're making 6 figures a night.
Yeah, I mean, think about how many bands. I mean, we're talking about country artists, hip hop artists, rock artists, comedians, all these people.
Yeah, everything. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, you're right. It's not just music. It's not just music.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no reason.
Sporting events.
There's no reason you have to jack up all that shit for,
Right.
And like I said, I've used Ticketfly and eTix. Those are 2 sites that you could definitely, but they're not as big. That's exactly what they did. They said, "Oh, this is Taylor Swift. She needs something big." No, not really. I mean, the thing is,
she doesn't.
No, because if you think about it, Maybe they didn't think those little smaller people could handle it or something. I don't know, but obviously Ticketmaster couldn't either if their shit
Mm-hmm.
crashed. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's another thing is if you'd have went with say Ticketfly or eTix and said, "Hey, I need this many tickets available" or whatever, then they could have probably handled that because they don't have 50 other artists doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
so
Well, and the funny thing is too, to avoid a system crash, you should have the ticket availability spread out among multiple providers anyway to avoid
right.
stuff like that, especially with an artist who,
Hey, this is
especially with an artist like her.
So this is my thing. So I'm okay with not having a paper copy, but I still think that we should be able. I think I should still go back to the way where you went somewhere and you actually paid for it there,
Mm-hmm.
and then had it
Yeah, absolutely.
emailed to you or whatever. That we that way there's no hand a ticket and then you get mugged on that way out or nothing like that. So
Yeah.
it just keeps everything at a crime rates and shit for that kind of stuff at a minimum.
I would absolutely
I would hang out.
return.
Yeah.
I would absolutely return to going to the box office.
Yeah, exactly.
I absolutely would.
And I know even at one time like Kroger actually handled Ticketmaster stuff. So
dude, I bought tickets. I mean, back in the day, I bought tickets to shows at the James Campbell Kroger.
Yeah.
And then when the sound shop was open,
right.
I actually was in line to buy a ticket at the sound shop, and they handed out little tickets.
Yeah.
I actually won the raffle at the sound shop to be first in line for Metallica tickets.
Cool.
Yeah. So I would literally go back to standing in line at a box office to get tickets if I can get a ticket for face value plus tax.
And here's another idea, because Best Buy's gotten away from musical instruments and cut back on CDs and to stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Why not let them handle it? I mean, they got the capacity to do that. I mean, they got a geek squad in case something goes down.
That's a great point.
Yeah, or you could just let Ashes Rain take care of your stuff. Since
not a bad idea. I'm sure Vinny'd be all about it. Yeah. I'm sure he'd be all about it. But the bottom line is Ticketmaster should not be the be all end all. It's not. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not. And every single one of us who buys a ticket from there gets gouged every time.
Yep. And I honestly try to avoid buying anything there.
But still, sometimes you literally
you have to.
Sometimes you can't. And it's bullshit.
Just like I'm sure if you go to a Predators game, you have to use Ticketmaster probably.
Yeah.
Unless you're buying like for a StubHub or something where somebody already bought it and reselling it, but
yeah. And the funny thing is, Ticketmaster even has a resale marketplace, which is double bullshit. Because they already overcharged for the ticket the first time.
They should not be allowed to do that. So.
No, they should not.
But yeah, hopefully they get something done to where they.
I hope so.
All right, last story here from Metal Injection. This one you might be kind of interested in. I know I was. I went and looked, and I don't know if I want to pay that right now, but definitely if they got some in a few weeks, I'd definitely do it. But we got an exclusive gold vinyl variant of Machine Head's classic "Burn My Eyes" album available at shop.givememetal.com. The variant features the entire classic record alongside 5 demos of songs all know and love, and probably moshed to numerous times throughout the years. Machine Head did a ton of touring and live streams around the 25th anniversary of their Burn My Eyes album in 2019. The lineup, which we actually went to, the lineup for those shows included Machine Head frontman Rob Flynn, bassist Jared McEachran, alongside Burn My Eyes era drummer Chris Contos and guitarist Logan Mader. Flynn went on to recruit guitarist Waclav Bog. Oh God, Celtica. You probably know it better than I do, but Celtica.
I think it's Celtica.
Celtica. Okay, there you go.
I think so.
And drummer Matt Alston for the band's new lineup at the time, while Mader and Contos went their separate ways, but that wasn't the plan. In an interview with Sakis Fragos of Hard Rock Greece, Flynn said he tried to do another record with the Burn My Eyes lineup, but the pandemic screwed things up financially for everyone. Still, Flynn said the quartet got as far as the demo process and made her even as a writing credit on the new song "My Hands Are Empty." That's cool. I didn't even pay attention to that. But,
Yeah.
we tried to do that. Logan actually has a co-write on "My Hands Are Empty," and we tried, and I sent everyone the demos, the stuff that I had till that point. I said, "Hey, add some riffs to this, or add some drums to that." And I think the timing was just off because it was just so crazy. Once the pandemic hit, everybody was just trying to hustle and make money and live and stay afloat. Even Logan and I had a conversation at one point. He was like, "Dude, I'd love to do this, but I need to fucking find a way to pay my rent. I got to figure out some other shit to make money here," because he lost a lot of when the pandemic hit. Many people lost their jobs, so it's just unfortunately didn't plan out. Not to say that it won't in the future, but for the time being, it did not. And so Jared and I just kept on plugging along. So there you go. Could have had another classic Burn My Eyes lineup album. Remember them?
Well, the good thing is it sounds like, you know, any
animosity,
any animosity or any wounds that were still festering have been healed.
Swept on the rug,
yeah. You know, so because I mean, you know, Rob, over the years, Rob has come out and said that he, you know, controls
kind of like, work with,
hard to work with, a little bit of a control freak, and you know, has admitted
like Dave,
to kind of being, you know, to kind of realizing that, you know, common denominator was myself. So I mean, you know, that fortunately that does come with age a lot of times, you know, so you know, so yeah, maybe we're looking at something that was already put together and, you know, just had to be put on hold. It's not something that's completely dead. It's just something that has to wait a little while. So, you know, kind of hopefully in the same vein that Dave Mustaine and James Hetfield thing we were talking about last week.
Yeah.
You know, that one may be a little bit more difficult to overcome,
right.
But you know, but the fact that they were
well, no, it's not. No. It's not difficult to overcome. You just gotta bite your fucking tongue and say, "Lars, you're not getting credit for this shit. Shut the fuck up." It's easy.
Well, I mean, Dave already said that. Yeah, Dave already said that. So I mean, the ball
and I don't blame him.
In James's court.
Yeah, and I can't blame him for saying that. If you don't give credit to somebody that didn't do shit. I mean, that's just the thing. I mean, you know. I mean, this isn't the Super Bowl where the guy didn't play all year and sit the bench and gets a fucking ring. It's in the same thing. It's in the same thing. So, you're a whole different. That guy got paid regardless. I mean, he Dave from Megadeth trying to make sure his stuff gets credited the right way. So, and especially with Metallica because of the way they ended things. I mean, he wants to make sure.
And rightfully so.
Right.
Absolutely
I have no complaints about that. So.
No.
All right. We got a couple of headlines here we can talk about too. So, Circle of Contempt ended their 6-year hiatus with a new single called Ascent, which I haven't checked out yet, but I probably will. This one's kind of interesting. Exodus guitarist Rick Hinault said Dave Mustaine is the reason people used to see Metallica in the early 80s. That's a pretty bold statement. But it seems that thrash legends Nuclear Assault have split up again, which we already talked about. It said again, like but
well, they did have at least one hiatus that I know of. So yeah,
this is kind of funny. Unlike some, Chad Kruger would prefer audience members to smoke pot. That's probably because they could, get through the concert. I will say this: I seen Nickelback live earlier on. I think it was maybe like their third album or something, and they don't play a lot of the mushy shit you hear on the radio, which I think is like interesting that these bands don't do that. Like Shinedown's one of those bands too. Like when I see them, they play like maybe 2 songs that were kind of they might play 45 or they might play Simple Man. Other than that, it's all their like heavy shit. And I'm just like, and I think it's like really good that they do that because it's kind of like this. We're not on the radio right now, so I'm going to play what I want. So,
which is good because we've talked at length multiple times about how there are rock stations who will if they play something they'll play the safe songs.
Right. And
They'll
then
play safe.
Five Fingers the same way. Like I've seen them like many times, probably 4 or 5 times already now. And like I don't think that I ever seen where they play like a lot of their like covers or anything like that. They kind of stick with they kind of stick with the good shit. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I said, I like that in the fact that I don't
Yeah.
go there now that I know that I don't go there expecting them to play, House of the Rising Sun, Bad Company. I mean, Bad Company is going to be a gimme. They're going to play that probably, but I'm just saying, like they don't go and play all their Blue on Black. Like, I don't think I've ever heard Blue on Black live from them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was just something that they
Which is
wanted to.
fine.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
fine.
But I think it's just something they wanted to do,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was interesting. With that, is Kenny Wayne Shepherd actually played with them on that song, which I did not know until reading a story about it. I was like, oh wow, that's actually kind of cool because most of the time you don't get the people that played the song on the on the damn
Mm-hmm.
cover. So, which kind of made the Megadeth one kind of cool too because Megadeth and Lamb of God both were on the song "Wake Up Dead." So,
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. This headline kind of got me, and I think it's so cool that it's like this. But ex Nightwish singer Tarja Turunen opens up about her relationship with Floor Jansen, saying, "We are sisters in metal." So obviously there was never no animosity there. So
Right. Which is, I mean, which is always good to hear. But I
yeah,
mean,
it is
it's nice to see that they're supporting each other. Because I mean,
right.
as far as Nightwish is concerned, you also had Annette Olson, who was a singer for the band too. So it's good to know that, like,
Mhm.
because I don't think there was any, because even when Tarja left, uh, I don't think it was under any,
Yeah, like
I don't
bad
think,
vibes or
yeah,
anything. So
it wasn't anything hostile or anything. It's just Tarja decided she wanted to move on, and because she had a solo career already before she
yeah,
had joined Nightwish, so
right.
she wanted to get back to doing that. So when she left and Floor came in, I don't think it was under any
Mhm.
acrimony or anything like that.
But I think it's cool that she said that we are sisters in metal. So I think that's a cool thing to kind of show unity
It
within the
is.
metal. Like you hear so much about animosity, and to hear something good to be like, no, we're all together in this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Unfortunately, like for every Tarja and Floor situation, though, you have a Alyssa White and Vicky Sarakas situation though, because they're not exactly huge fans of each other though, unfortunately. But
I wonder why. Like I don't.
I'm not 100% sure. But
Because
I want,
Alyssa left first before
mhm,
Vicky came on, so it's not
yeah.
like
So I remember there was a story we reported on, but I don't remember like the meat of the story. And I have to go back and look. But I
yeah.
want to
Let
go
me
back. I want to
try
go
to
back to I want to go back to the Nickelback headline you were talking um, about how, wait, was it Nickelback?
which one.
It was the weed thing.
It was
It was Nickelback. Okay.
Chad Crew, yeah.
I know we talked about this already, so I'm gonna try to not get too long winded about it. But I wanted to go back to it because Chad Kroger is another guy, because there's Chad Kroger, there was
It's Kruger, man. It's Kruger. Remember?
sorry, Kruger, yeah, Chad Kruger, Des Fafara, and there was one other front man who was giving Bruce Dickinson shit about it. So since this came up again, I'm gonna bring it up again real quick. I am on Bruce Dickinson's side on this.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't like cigarettes. I don't like smoke, and I don't like the smell of weed. I don't
Mhm.
smoke at all. So when you're at a venue, especially if it's an indoor venue, you're not supposed to be, at least in this country. I'm not going to speak
Right.
for the rest of the world. In this country, you are not supposed to smoke indoors. Why? Because it's unhealthy,
Yeah.
and it's
And you
and
wind up with a great white fire. So
right. You eat that there's the potential for that. It's unhealthy, it's unsafe, and it's rude to people who don't want to have to deal with that.
yeah.
Okay? So
Well,
cigarette
plus there's smoking areas most of the time for these indoor venues, so you can
also
always
true.
go out and do that.
Also
So
true. Not to mention that there are still places in this country where weed is illegal.
mhm.
So and let me say this, I am pro weed legalization. I am pro weed legalization, but it's like I tell my kids, until it's legal, it's not.
Yeah,
So
right.
you
Yeah.
also have the legality of it. So not only are you breaking the venue's rules, depending on where you are, you're also breaking the law. So if Bruce Dickinson,
breaking the law.
right, and I know metal is metal is anti-establishment and all that shit, but at the same time, when it comes to when it comes to somebody's personal space, like if it's my personal space, you start smoking next to me, if you light up a joint next to me, we're gonna have problems.
Yeah,
because I don't want to smell that shit. And if Bruce Dickinson doesn't want to smell that shit at a concert, and if Steve Harris doesn't like it, if you're indoors, knock it the fuck off. Yeah. Go out, like you said, go to the smoking area, go outside, or get high before you go inside, or get high when the concert's over.
I have seen people get kicked out for that. So
and they should. So I'm on Bruce Dickinson's side on this.
Yeah, I remember actually seeing. I was actually right by the door when going in. I was late, kind of come in like mid set of the first act, and I remember pushing somebody out already, and I'm like, damn, what did he do already? And then I heard him talking about smoking weed, and I thought, oh shit, because it was an indoor place, like you said, so you can't really do that in there because it's a fire hazard. But he was smoking weed in there, and they kicked him out, and he was just like, he's like, I paid my money, and the security guard's like, well, you wasted that shit. So I was like, damn,
buying a ticket to a venue does not give you
a right to break the laws.
Free pass.
Yeah. I don't get
it. Doesn't give you a free pass. Oh, and just before we move on, Dana, you're right. Fear Factory and Gary Newman, they did work together on that cover for Cars. That was a good one too. So.
Yeah.
And one more thing, Bonnaroo sucks anyway. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who's
it doesn't matter who's running it. Bonnaroo sucks anyway. So.
All right, that's some good news here. Glenn Hughes celebrated 25 years of sobriety. That's pretty awesome.
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
Yeah.
Keep that up.
That is amazing.
And then kind of like and I'm not to kill anything or give away too much from the interview last night, but Phil was talking about how he gave up alcohol and stuff too, which is cool. So
good for him. Yeah, he said he was what, 8 or 9 months sober?
Yeah, 8 or 9 months sober. Yeah,
good for him, man.
Good. Yeah, man. Like, awesome. Like I said, the rock industry has a I don't know. I feel like in the rock industry, you feel like you have to do certain things to look like a rock star. I mean, drinking and not taking care of yourself isn't really one of them, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
But I drink, but I don't. I drink, but I don't drink. I guess it's kind of like I know, like I drink a beer or two and I'm done. I don't.
That's the thing is, I mean, I every time I've ever seen you have over a year sober here, Dana, congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So yeah, like Jason, like anytime I've ever seen you drink, I think the most beers I've ever seen you drink might be 3.
Yeah. So it's because like I've been an alcoholic too. Like, I actually I went through a depression state when my best friend died at 18, and I wasn't even old enough to drink. So it was kind of weird time for me. But I went through a time where, I would be out and, on a Friday I'd get paid, and then by Monday I'd have $80 in my account because I drink it all, and it's just like at some point that hits you and you're like, what the fuck did I do with my money? Like, oh yeah, I drink it, so then you're like, fuck this. I can't do this anymore. I got, I still got to pay bills. And, of course I did pay my bills on top of that. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying, like, once you get going in a work week and you realize you got $80, it's kind of like, fuck,
Yeah.
When you made $500 on Friday. So, that kind of hit me, financially when I was thinking about it. I'm like, dude, I got to quit this shit. Then I was just, I kind of went cold turkey there for a while. And then once I got older, I realized that, hey, I can do this without fucking getting drunk.
Sure.
It's not like, so now it's more of like, I'll go somewhere. And like if I'm in a new restaurant or a new place and I see beers, I'm like, I've never heard of that. I want to try it. That's kind of where I'm at. That's where I'm at now. So I'll be like, pretty good, or this is pretty good. And like,
you have all the control over it. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the main thing is you got to know. It's always so the whole thing was always laughed about this when I remember the commercials, but it was know when to say when, and I think that's really is what you got to do. You got to know when to 3-4 beers tops, I'm done. It's easy to do at a venue for me because I'm not going to pay, especially when we went to a freaking Megadeth show at Bridgestone. I was like, they rang up 2 beers. They said $32. I said, what the fuck? Yeah. So I was like, well, I guess we're only drinking one. So, of course, my wife, she likes to taste test too. That's more or less where we're at. We're more of taste testing than we are actually drinking.
Yeah.
So if we could just go around and drink kind of shots of beer, just to
Right.
taste it, then that's probably what I would do. But
Right. Yeah.
just to get, but I do like to taste of some of them. Like I said, you have to taste them to know if you like it or not. So,
That's
but
true.
I have learned what kinds I do like and what kinds I don't. I stay away from IPAs because I haven't really met one I like. So, and then porters are a little bit dark for me. So, so I'm more of a lager and stuff like that. So, I recently was at a eating a burger at the burger place that we go to, and they had a Yingling Flight, which I never heard of. So I was like, yeah, give me one there, let me try it. Actually, it's pretty good. So then I got a new. I was at the store the other day, and I'm out of beer, so I do drink one every once in a while around here doing stuff. So. Um, I grabbed a 6-pack of some new Michelob that I've never seen before. So I was like, well, we'll try that. So I mean, it's like I said, that stuff sits in my refrigerator. I bought a Corona 12-pack, I don't know, 2 months ago, and there's still 2 in there. So it's like, of course, it's easy to do too when we stay as busy as we do because we both work and when we're not working, we're preparing for this. So it's kind of like it's kind of like you don't think about stuff like that when you're staying busy. So
yeah,
and that's one of the things that helped me through my sobriety was I said fuck this, and then I went through a bad relationship thing. So I decided that to get my mind and keep my mentality straight, I started working out. So I was in the gym 6 days a week. So I was working in the gym 6 days a week. So I didn't have time to think about drinking and relationships or anything. I was pretty much trying to get myself straight. So come to the 404 in Nashville. Yeah, I seen that. You know what? I'll talk to Cece. See if she's up to it. We might do that.
yeah.
But
We need to find out where we need to find some way to get that beer that the guys from Hidden Intent drink. See if we can get
that BB,
BB. See if we can get some of that over here.
Yeah, we'll see. Man, maybe somebody's got some of that somewhere. I know there's a real cool place up in Gatlinburg that I went to, and I have to look it up again. But really cool place. They had different types of beer from different countries. It was pretty cool. Just one of the little shops up in one of the little hidden areas. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
All right, we'll carry on here for the headlines. The WHO, the HU, WHO,
right? Yep.
is the first rock or metal act named UNESCO Artist for Peace, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Congratulations to them for that. So I didn't realize there was 8 people in that band. I was like, holy shit!
Is there really?
Yeah, I was like,
I didn't know that either.
A picture of them, I'm like, holy shit! There's like 8 of them.
Yeah. Like every picture I've ever seen, every like press photo I've ever seen. There's only like 4 in the picture, which is weird.
I don't know. Maybe it was just a mirrored picture or something. I don't know, but it definitely looked like it definitely counted 8 in the picture I seen. I was like, wow, that's
interesting. Crazy. Okay, well, that's cool. Well, congratulations to them, regardless.
Yeah, regardless. Yeah, 4, 8, 10, whatever they are. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. The first one to ever receive that. That's pretty cool. Excuse me. And this was kind of interesting to me. Europe is recording a new album in May of 2023.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's crazy. I haven't heard that band's name in a while. Ian Gillan was disappointed with the final production mix of Black Sabbath's Born Again that he threw it out of his car window.
Oh, Jesus.
Get that shit out of here, man.
That's a pretty harsh review.
Of his own band too. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I always feel bad about giving an album like a 2.5 out of 5, and he's chucking shit out the window.
Yeah, of his own shit. That's pretty bad. They said the final production mix too. Like it was the final mix. He's like, nah, fuck, this is horrible.
Oh man.
And then
well, I mean, every artist is their own worst critic, though.
Well, that is true. Yeah, I was the same way. So, not that I was a musician, but we won't get into that because I know people tired of hearing about it. But Striper's Michael Sweet says we are very blessed to still have 3 of the 4 original members, which that is pretty unheard of nowadays.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I actually wanted to look up and see the Scorpions' original lineup because I think most of those guys are still there too. So
hang on, I'll take a look at it. Hold on. I'll take a look at it.
I know. Rudolph's still in the band, and I know Herman Rareberry, I think, is still in the band.
Well, let's see. They were formed in 1964. Rudolph Schenker is the only original member.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yep. Klaus Meine showed up in 1969. Matthias Jabs showed up in 1978. Pavel Masiwoda, I don't know if I pronounced that right. He showed up in 03, and then obviously Mickey D showed up in 16.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
yeah. So
Herman Rebel's not in there anymore. Okay.
Yep. So Rudolf Schenker is the only original member.
Wow.
And I didn't know that. I didn't know this. Rudolf Schenker was actually the vocalist for the first 3 years. I didn't know that either.
Wow, I did not know that either.
I didn't know that either.
That'd be interesting to hear some of those tracks to see what that sounded like. So,
I mean, and it's crazy because I mean, if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, yeah, Klaus Meine's been the singer the whole time. I mean, he's been the singer from 1969 to now, and that's a long time.
That's a long time. Yeah,
he's been the singer for 53 years. You're like, oh yeah, he's got to be the original singer. He was not.
Wow, that's amazing to think that they've been around as long as Sabbath. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Probably technically a little longer.
Yeah, but Black Sabbath gets labeled as the metal people that invented metal.
The inventors of heavy metal. Yeah.
But I mean, that earlier Scorpion stuff was pretty hard, man. Can't argue with some of that stuff.
No, you can't.
That was all the headlines that I had, so I guess we can switch over to hitting the road. I got a couple things I want to talk about here. Most of it's festival info, so
that's totally fine.
You'll be able to carry the torch for most of this, I think. So I do have two shows that aren't, but most of it's
okay.
So Furnace Fest 2023 has announced their first 4 artists, and to the surprise of nobody, the Dillinger Escape Plan will not be there. Wow. The first 4 artists were Training for Utopia's first show in 24 years, the Calacious Doughboys, Gorilla Biscuits, and Foreign Hands. Training for Utopia, the Callous Doughboys, or Dowboys, I don't know, DAO boys.
Yeah, I think it's the Callous Dowboys. I think.
Oh, so it's kind of like the Dallas Cowboys. I got you.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like a swapping of the letters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Gorilla Biscuits, that's be an interesting band to check out.
Yeah.
And then Foreign Hands. Okay. So that was the first 4. Like once they get the full lineup, I'll come back and talk about it. But I thought we would get that the first 4 out there for everybody.
Yeah, festival lineups are starting to kind of come together and leak out. So
well, I mean, you got to look at it's starting up pretty quick. So March, May, something like that. So I think May's a really big month for a bunch of them. So
yeah.
And then Pantera, Disturbed, Amon Amarth, and Arch Enemy are among more than 100 artists added to Belgium's Grass Pop Metal meeting, which once they get that official lineup, we'll definitely share that as well.
That's a hell of a good start.
Yeah, no shit. Then Pantera announced 9 more European shows for 2023. 5 of those, or 4 of those I have listed here. May 26th, Sofia Armits Arena in Bulgaria. May 27th, Bucharest Metalhead Meeting Open Air Festival in Romania, I guess.
Bucharest, Romania.
Yeah. And then May 30th, Budapest Barba Negra in Hungary. And then May 31st, Vienna Gasometer in Austria. So.
Yeah, the other dates. I had that too, so I'll read them.
Okay, yeah.
We have June 5th in Lodz, Poland at the Atlas Arena. We have June 12th in Prague in Czechia at the O2 Arena. Then we have June 13th in Berlin at the Verti Music Hall. June 15th in Copenhagen, Denmark at the Copenhagen Festival. And then June 21st in Hamburg, Germany at Edel Optics. So those are the 9 newest dates that Pantera has added to Europe.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't get the other 5. I guess I probably thought it was part of the current tour or something.
Oh, that's good. That's all good, man.
Yeah. Dana said he's out. Appreciate you stopping by, Dana.
Yes,
maybe I'll see you out there tonight. I'll see what the wife feels like. So
Yep. Thanks for dropping by, Dana. We appreciate you, man. Have a great one.
And then I had a Lip Biscuit, E-Town Concrete, Tala, and more booked for the first Bamboozle Festival in 11 years. Scal, Left to Suffer, Gideon, Kowanashi, and more will be there too. That's going to be May 5th through the 7th at the Bader Field in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So hey, man, let's see who all's there. That may be a good little trip.
Yeah.
Of course, we said we weren't doing a festival, so probably not.
Right.
And then the 2 that I had, actually, I only had one. So
okay.
Hammerfall announces a solo off dates of the 2023 Halloween tour. The off dates are May 12th, Houston, Texas, the studio at the Warehouse. May 15th at Atlanta, Georgia at the Masquerade. May 19th at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the Underground Arts. May 22nd, Montreal, Quebec at the Theater Fairmont. May 25th, Columbus, Ohio, the King of Clubs. May 28th, Lawrence, Kansas at the Granada Theater. May 31st, Salt Lake City, Utah, Metro Music Hall. And June 4th at Roseville, California at the Goldfield Trading Post. So those are the alone dates there. But the rest of the time they will be with Halloween. So
I would have liked to have seen that tour with those two bands together.
Yeah.
But Hammerfall is one of those bands that I've always wanted to see since I became a fan of theirs. I would have preferred to see them together with Halloween. That would have been perfect. But It would have been nice if one of those off dates would have been close by too. That would have been all right. But all right. So for my contribution over at the PRP.com, like always, we have Comeback Kid and Drain going to. Just letting you guys know, there's a lot of Australian dates coming up, and we actually told that to the guys at Hidden Intent last night when we were talking to them. So, Comeback Kid and Drain are going to Australia starting January 19th, 23 in Brisbane at the Bright Side, finishing January 28th in Perth at Amplifier Bar. Then Darkest Hour is going down to Australia starting February 8th in Adelaide at the Crown and Anchor, finishing February 12th in Brisbane at the Bright Side. Helmet has rescheduled their Australian tour that was originally scheduled for 2020, back before the world went to shit for a little bit. Those new dates are April 20th in Newcastle at Cambridge, April 21st in Sydney at Roundhouse, April 22nd in Hobart at Republic, April 24th in Perth at Rosemount, April 26th in Canberra at the Basement, April 27th in Brisbane at Tivoli, the 28th and 29th at the Croxton Band Room, so two nights at that venue in Melbourne, and then April 30th in Adelaide at the Gov. Then we have the Original Misfits have canceled their New Year's Eve show in Las Vegas due to quote unquote an unexpected personal matter, quote unquote. Then Alpha Wolf, King 810, 1056, and Exile are going to Europe and the UK, starting April 6th in Cologne, Germany at Essig Fabric, finishing April 27th in Berlin, Germany at SO36. Sleep Token is going to Australia, starting April 28th of 23 in Brisbane at the Triffid, finishing May 4th in Perth at Magnet House. Then Gel and Big Laugh are going out starting January 18th in Columbus, Ohio at the Ace of Cups. That's going to be Gel only. Big Laugh will not be at that show. And then finishing up on February 5th in Washington, D.C. at Comet Ping Pong. They do have a Nashville date, January 26th at Dark Matter. So then moving over to Blabbermouth, we have the Winery Dogs going on tour starting February 15th of 23 in Greensburg, Pennsylvania at the Palace Theater. And that tour will actually finish in Nashville on April 6th at the Brooklyn Bowl. So, Yep. So there we go. It's kind of short and sweet this week, the hitting the road, but all of our fans down in Australia, they have 1, 2, 3, 4... They have four new tours to look forward to in 2023. And of course, check your local listings for when Hidden Intent is going to be playing at a city near you. So
yeah, we were talking to them about that last night, how all those tours are coming through there. So
yep.
All right. Guess we can go over to this week in metal history. A few things here. Last few weeks of this.
Yep. We are coming to the end of this segment slowly but surely. So, but don't worry. We do have some new stuff that's going to be coming your guys' way to kind of take the place of it in 2023. We're excited too. So
yes. All right, November 21st, 1991, Aerosmith made a guest appearance in the Simpsons TV animated comedy. Other acts who have appeared on the show include Red Hot Chili Peppers, Smashing Pumpkins, Sonic Youth, U2, the Moody Blues, the B-52s, The Who, REM, Fish, Blink-182, Metallica, and the White Stripes, and of course Green Day in the movie. So there's been a lot of acts come through for Simpsons. So it's cool to see that Nightwish made at least a song appearance there. Which is pretty cool.
It is.
November 22nd, 2004, Ozzy Osbourne struggled with a burglar who escaped with jewelry worth about £2 million from his Buckinghamshire mansion. Osborne told reporters that he had the masked raider in a headlock as he tried to stop him. The burglar broke free and jumped 30 feet from a first floor window. A large amount of jewelry was stolen in the raid, in which 2 burglars were involved. That's pretty wild. Dude jumped 30 feet from a damn window. Yeah. I'm still trying to imagine Ozzy having him in a headlock. That's pretty hilarious.
I know. But it just goes to, because the whole thing, because, we've talked about a couple times where they were supposedly moving back to the UK because they don't feel safe here and all that, which I mean,
they got robbed over there.
Right. So, I mean, but there is some validity to that, I'll admit,
but
at the same time, it just goes to show there are no guarantees anywhere. There are no guarantees.
And like we report on this way too much, where an act gets their stuff stolen or breaking into vans, and then we were talking about that last night where
Chris was telling us last night
right before their North American tour, he had his stuff broken into, and they stabbed his tire or some shit. So all the other band was over here but him. So and it was so bad because it was the start of the North American tour, and they stole his passport and shit. Yeah. So he had to go through all the passport bullshit to get it expedited, and he was lucky enough to be able to get it took care of to get over here for the shows. So
and he said he actually had to pay extra to make sure that they expedited the process to get his passport so he could even come over and do his job.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So
people that take her they suck. So.
They absolutely do.
Yeah. And then November 22nd, 1991, Alice Cooper came to the rescue of 2 fans, Patrick and Dean Ann Kelly, whose California home was about to be repossessed. Patrick had painted Cooper's face on the house to help sell the property. Mr. Cooper signed autographs to help raise money for the couple. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So acts of kindness from rock and metal acts are pretty common. People they're all like assos, but
no.
Then he had November 23rd, 2019. Accounts showed that Guns N' Roses, not in its lifetime tour, had raked in more than $500 million during its 3-year run, grossing $584.2 million. The tour, which kicked off in 2016, sold 5,371,891 tickets, making it the 3rd highest grossing tour according to Billboard Bot Score. Man, that's wild.
Nice.
But it's crazy to think that they went on that long of a hiatus and they're still selling that much shit.
Right.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
I guess fans missed Guns N' Roses that much. I don't know. November 24th, 1991, Eric Carr, drummer with Piss. Oh my God. Drummer with Kiss died at age 41, complications from cancer in a New York hospital. Of course, Carr replaced Peter Criss, and that's too many isses in there, I guess. But in 1980, and remained a band member until he became ill in 91. For his Kiss stage persona, Carr was known as the Fox. And Carr was an excellent drummer, man.
Yeah, he was.
I think he took Kiss to a new level when he took over too, which was sad because I think they were, in a really good spot whenever he was drumming for him. So, and his version of Beth was really, really good too. So. We had November 25th, 2007, Kevin DeBrow, the frontman of heavy metal band Quiet Riot, was found dead in his Las Vegas home at the age of 52. Their 1983 release, Metal Health, was the first metal album to top the U.S. charts, and the band's biggest hit, Come On Feel the Noise, a cover of the Slade song, which they are said to have grudgingly recorded in just one take.
Yep.
That's the thing is you hear these stories and you think about all these people that are going independent, and now you know why, because they don't want to do some of the shit that these people want. Hey, you need to cover this. I don't want to fucking cover that. So, which I think I don't know if you read that, but I think Disturbed was talking about that. They said when they went into the studio for the new album, they said covers weren't even an option.
They're like, we're not even thinking about doing covers.
Yeah, we're not doing covers. Yeah. Which is cool because I like Disturbed's covers, but don't get me wrong, it's you don't have to do one every album.
No, you do not. No, you don't.
Take note, Five Finger Death Punch.
Exactly. Yeah, and in this moment.
Oh yeah.
Well, they don't do it as often, but still.
Right. They just do horrible ones.
Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
November 25th, 2000, a burglar broke into Alice Cooper's home and made off with over $6,000 worth of clothes, shoes, and cameras belonging to the singer's daughter. The goods were all lifted from Cooper's house in Paradise Valley, along with 4 of the Stars Gold discs. Fucking crazy. So I mean, we talk about that in 2 instances on here where people broke into singers' homes and stealing shit. Man, it's like unfucking real. Like they ain't got nothing better to do. But
in the case of like the gold records,
yeah.
What are you gonna do with that?
You're going to sell them and get caught. That's what you're going to do.
That's exactly what. Yeah, that's exactly because I mean, Alice. Alice is going to report it stolen, and the minute it shows up somewhere, it's like, hey, so stupid. People are so
unless you just hang on to it until you die, and
right.
Then it really isn't ain't much you can do with it. You're dead. So
right.
But that was my contribution to this week in metal history.
All right.
I was talking about the covers real quick. I know Nonpoint's real big with covers too, but I think
they do really good ones.
But I think the difference is they do stuff like pop rock covers or whatever, and they make it heavy. So it's like a different version of that song. It's not like in this moment out here doing karaoke of "Fly Like an Eagle," so, and that's what it sounded like. It's like Maria Brink was out here trying to sing "Fly Like an Eagle" just the way it was written, which is kind of crazy because I think that covers work good if you can put your own spin on them. But if you can't do that, then it's kind of like, why are you doing it? But and Disturbed has some good covers too. Five Fingers done some good covers, but they just do too many.
They do. They absolutely do.
You get to an album or something. That's just you don't need to do that. Now they did kind of like lay off on one of the albums. I can't remember if it was the last one or the one before, but I did remember like going through and looking at it a while back, and I said, "Oh, they didn't even do a cover on that album." I'm surprised, but
well, then you do too many. It kind of cheapens it.
It does, yeah. So,
because people are like, I don't want to hear another one, and then even if it's a good cover, they're just like, I'm done. So you don't want to, you don't want to overdo it.
I don't know which one Nonpoint's doing next, but I do know they did a poll on their website. I think that that Onyx song "Slam" was the one that won.
Really,
so I'd be kind of interested to see what they do with that. But so
wow, okay, all right.
So.
Interesting. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that if it comes down the pike. All right.
Well, it's coming into December, so you're expecting that last minute EP to come out.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. Make sure we hold off on our.
Well, they've recorded some stuff because I tried to get them to come on the show in between like album, in between their. I knew they were working on some stuff, and I was trying to get them in between the tour and the album, and it just didn't work out timing wise. So, that's another band that stays really, really busy. So,
yep, they absolutely do.
When they ain't doing that, they're doing cameos for my wife. So,
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, this week in metal history, my portion of it, as always, is brought to you guys by This Day in Metal at Twitter and Facebook, and Dr. Feelgood and Ms. Hyde on Facebook. So for the week of the 19th through the 25th, leading off with 11/19 of 10, Sodom releases In War and Pieces. 11/19 of 07, Gamma Ray releases Land of the Free 2. 11/19 of 21, Exodus releases Persona Non Grata. 11/19 of 02, Mudvayne releases The End of All Things to Come. 11/19 of 13, Five Finger Death Punch releases The Wrong Side of Heaven and The Righteous Side of Hell Volume 2, which debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200. And 11/19 of 11, Fastway releases Eat Dog Eat. 11/20 of 73, Alice Cooper Band releases their final studio album, Muscle of Love. And obviously Alice Cooper, the performer, went on to still be making music today. So 50 years later. So 11/20 of 20, Dark Tranquility releases Moment. 11/20 of 90, Cinderella releases Heartbreak Station, that peaked at number 19 on the Billboard 200. 11/21 of 96, Labyrinth releases No Limits, and Anvil releases Plugged In Permanent. 11/21 of 2000, Kingdom Come releases 2. 11/21 of 14, Bloodhound releases Stormborn. 11/21 of 07, Crazy Licks releases Loud Minority. 1121 of 06, Killswitch Engage releases As Daylight Dies, which peaked at number 32 on the Billboard 200. 1121 of 95, Voivod releases Negatron, and 1121 of 03, Korn releases Take a Look in the Mirror. 1122 of 13, Rhapsody of Fire releases Dark Wings of Steel. 1122 of 99, Sonata Arctica releases Ecliptica. 1122 of 10, Yngwie Malmsteen releases Relentless. 1122 of 19, Tigers of Pantang release Ritual. 1122 of 05, System of a Down releases Hypnotize. And 1122 of 85, Dokken releases Under Lock and Key. 1123 of 12, Destruction releases Spiritual Genocide. 1123 of 99, Yngwie Malmsteen releases Alchemy. 1123 of 18 was a busy day for Virgin.
Album of the year.
Right, yeah. 1123 of 18 was a busy day for Virgin Steel. They released Ghost Harvest Vintage 1, Black Wine for Mourning, Ghost Harvest Vintage 2, Red Wine for Warning, and Gothic Voodoo Anthems, all on the same day.
Damn.
I know. 1123 of 89, Nuclear Assault releases Handle with Care. 1123 of 81, AC/DC releases For Those About to Rock, which peaked all the way at the top of the Billboard charts. 1123 of 08, Guns N' Roses releases Chinese Democracy, which debuted at number 3 on the Billboard 200. And 1123 of 87, Black Sabbath releases The Eternal Idol. 1124 of 94, Bolt Thrower releases For Victory. And 1125 of 11, Mystic Prophecy releases Raven Lord. So those are the weekly releases for November 19th through the 25th this week in metal history.
I'm kind of disappointed you didn't say Kingdom Come and and Heartbreak Station Station would kind of go into our category this week too.
Yeah, I thought about that, but and we could still add it, but
that's kind of a ballady type song.
That's kind of why that was kind of why I stayed away from it a little bit, but.
And then AC/DC was at the top of the charts because it's a long way to the top. If you want to rock and roll.
When you want to rock, yep. Well, since I guess we kind of gave away the whole theme, I guess we might as well just jump into into the theme of the week. So
our theme of the week or metal topic of the week or whatever we decided to call this thing going forward was trains. Chris asked me earlier in the week, said, have we ever done trains? I said, well, not since I've been married, but
that answer kind of caught me off guard. I actually literally laughed out loud at that one. That was a good one.
So we went with trains this week, and I kind of feel like we're going to have some overlap with this. So hopefully,
we probably will.
I wound up with 13.
I ended up with 15, but that's fine because
12. I did 12. So
yeah, so I ended up with 15. I was trying to make this list and avoiding the obvious ones.
Right.
But
it's kind of hard for me not to though. So.
Right, exactly. So I mean I was trying not to, and I did okay, but I mean if we have doubles, that's totally fine considering last week we decided to officially like do away with calling it a top 10. So yeah, that doesn't really matter too much now. So
as Corey Taylor says, you get what we give you. So
that's right. That's right.
And then if you think of, of course, that links up so you can people can actually add to it. So
yes, they can.
Actually going to share the stuff real quick before we get started in this one. So come on. That glare going on, so I can't see shit. All right, that's the weekly playlist that I just shared.
All right, there we go.
Then we'll get through this, and then I'll share last week's topic. So the topic of the week's trains. Of course, I kind of reached on one or two of these, but. It's all good. So I don't think anybody would complain about the reach ones, but
nah, I don't think so either.
But I kicked it off, of course, with Ozzy Osbourne's "Crazy Train" from the Blizzard of Oz of 1980 or 2020 or whatever you want to say. Because I went and looked at that, and I'm like, why did they not have the original date on here? Because they remastered it and just redid it all with. And just redid the dates and everything. I'm like, what the hell?
Which is weird because Blizzard of Oz came out in 81. Yeah.
Yeah, 81. Yeah. And then I had Megadeth Train of Consequences from Euthanasia in 1994. Then the next one I went with was The Ghost Inside, Engine 45, Get What You Give from 2012. Then I went with Motorhead Locomotive, No Remorse, 1984. And then I went with Wasp's Locomotive Man from Unholy Terror in 2001. This one was the one that kind of reached, but I don't think anybody complained about a Coal Chamber song. I went with Coal Chamber because, of course, trains back in the day were coal powered. So, so I went with I Owe You Nothing from the Rivals album in 2015. Then I went with For All Eternities, Derailed from The Will to Rebuild in 2017. Then I went with Employed to Serve, Platform 89 from The Warmth of a Dying Sun in 2017. Then I took Armored Saints, Last Train Home, Symbol of Salvation in 1991. Then, of course, I don't know why I didn't think about this one sooner, but I was going through and I was kind of like looking for stuff. And then I happened to think about Guns N' Roses Night Train from Appetite for Destruction of 87.
Yeah.
I was like, well, I get that far down and didn't think about Night Train. But
yeah.
Then I took Metallica's Hate Train from Beyond Magnetic EP in 2011.
Deep cut.
Yeah, deep cut, yeah. And then last but not least, I took Accept's D Train from Eat the Heat in 1989. So
nice. All right. Well, there's one on here that I had that I'm surprised that you didn't, but that's okay because between the two of us, we got it on lockdown. So, and you'll know it when I say it. You'll be like, oh, of course. So
well, I may have stayed away from it for that reason too. So
yeah. So
sometimes I think about it, like, he'll probably have this one.
Yeah. Well, that's the funny thing is that's why I didn't put Night Train on here. I didn't put Night Train on mine for that reason. So, all right. So leading off with my theme of the week, first off, I went with Bullet Train by Judas Priest off of Jugulator from 1996. And
that was one of the ones I knew you were probably going to have.
And and we are of the opinion that the Tim Ripper Owens era of Judas Priest is very underrated.
Yes.
Then I went with the song Choo Choo by Soothsayer off of their album Death Radiation from 2019. They are a thrash metal band from Beauport, Quebec. So they were one of those quote unquote new to me bands that I hadn't heard of before. So then I went with Loco by Coal Chamber off of Coal Chamber from 1997. Even though I know that they're in this song, they're referring to loco being crazy in Spanish.
Right.
Loco is kind of slang for locomotive. So I kind of went with that one. So
plus you got coal. So.
Right. Exactly. So, and then I got into the doubles that you and I had. I also had D Train by Accept off of Eat the Heat from 89.
Really?
Yeah. I had Last Train Home by Armored Saint, Symbol of Salvation 91. And then the two most obvious ones to me, Train of Consequences and Crazy Train, Megadeth and Ozzy Osbourne, respectively. Then I went with Train of Thought by Pissing Razors off of their album Cast Down the Plague from 1999. They are
actually listened to that song last night. So.
Yeah, they are a groove metal band from El Paso, Texas. Then I went with Ginger Rails by Hammer Fight off of their album Chug of War from 2013. They are a thrash/hard rock band from Atlantic City. Then I went with Sunset Station by Yorn off of their album World Changer from 2001. Then I went with Bullet Train from Coronary off of their album Sinbad from 2021. They are a heavy metal. They
listen to that one as well last night.
Yeah, they're a heavy metal band from Tampere, Finland. Then here's the one that I'm surprised you didn't have: Crushed Beneath the Tracks from Warbringer off of Weapons of Tomorrow from 2020. Then I went with Locomotive Breath by Wasp off of The Headless Children from 1998. And yes, I do realize that is a Jethro Tull cover, but they did it very well.
Yeah.
Then I went with Freight Train by Axel Rudy Pell off of his latest album Lost 23 from earlier this year. Then last but not least, I went with Locomotive by Running Wild off of their album Shadowmaker from 2012.
Cool. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't have the Warbringer one myself. So.
So there we go. We'll get that theme of the week playlist collaborated and compiled, and we'll get that posted for you guys. And I think Spotify may have actually kind of changed what they do with the collaboration link. The last couple of weeks, I've noticed that it does now say that the link is good for 7 days instead of 24
Oh,
hours.
wow.
And
Cool.
I think they may have actually changed it, which would be awesome. That would mean that the playlist is open for collaboration all week long. So
Yeah.
if anyone ends up wanting to add to that list later in the week and it works, let us know, because I would be curious to know if that link is actually good for the whole week, because that would be ideal.
Yeah. Just make sure
And
it sticks to the train topic.
just please keep it on topic for this week. This week is trains, and this is actually last week's topic right
Games.
there, games. So there we go.
I actually thought about the Five Finger Death Punch song "House of the Rising Sun" when I was doing it, because it talks about, you know, being
Yep.
1 foot on the train, 1 on the
Right.
platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we may add that too. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what he winds up with. I like having a 2-hour long playlist, so
Yeah.
that's kind of like what I shoot for.
Yep.
That's kind of what I like. I got to where I was doing that with the weekly playlist, and then I was like, you know what? I'm just putting 30 songs on there. Fuck it. So I mean, that's what most of them do anyway. Because like if I go and look at the release radar or something like that, it's always got like 30 new songs on there. So
Sure. Yeah.
and I get stuff off of that. I get stuff off of that one sometimes too, because it's could be stuff that I missed, or I usually try to look at videos that have came out, because I usually try to share videos as they come out if I can catch them. So I usually go back to the page too and see what came out video wise, and see if it actually released on a single too. So
right.
All right, I guess we will jump into our album reviews this week. Actually, I did a full length and I did an EP this week. So
okay, there you go.
Which is kind of cool that I actually got the EP in. I actually started listening to a third one, but I haven't gotten quite enough into it to make
a fair assessment so far.
Yeah, so far, but I'm pretty impressed with it so far, and I'm kind of pissed off about it because actually, let me look that up real quick, because I was sorry.
Well, it's kind of ironic that you're upset that you're impressed.
Well, no, it's not that. It's I was upset because this band's been around for so long. I've never heard of them. So
I gotcha. Kind of like Onslaught and Zentrix and all that shit.
Yeah, and it's a band called Leather. I don't know if you've ever heard of them or not, but I mean,
Leather.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Let's see.
We are the Chosen.
Yes. So
nice.
Their very first album. Wait a minute. Maybe they changed their name. Maybe that's why.
That's a possibility.
Oh. Huh. The 7th of Never. Yeah, because it looks like they may have been called Chastain at one time.
That makes sense because Leather Leone was the lead singer of that band for a while.
Ah, there we go. That's kind of what it is, I guess. But yeah, so I mean they've actually, that was in '87, and then now Leather picked up shop in 2013. So
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but they got like a Shockwaves album, and it says 30 years of Shockwaves. I'm like, that's interesting. So I don't know if there's like a lot of unreleased stuff that they've done.
Could be.
But yeah, they had an album out in 2019 called Leather 2, and then they had We Are the Chosen Now. So
nice.
Yeah, so far it's not bad. I like it. So
we'll check it out.
Good. Kind of a Doro Pesci type. Yeah. So they even
Leather Leone kind of came from that era a little bit.
Yeah, and she's got, and there's one part of one of the songs that says Queen of Metal. So it's not the name of the song, but I did hear her mention that in there, and I'm like, oh, she's like trying to spark up some heat with Doro.
I'd watch that fight.
Yeah, as long as it's in some pudding or oil or something.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hell yeah.
Starting to act like men around here.
Right. Yeah. No, we wouldn't do that, would we?
Yeah. Anyway, the album that I took on was Howler, Descendants of Evil. Howler is a heavy thrash metal band from San Jose, Costa Rica.
Nice.
Yeah, so they've been around since 2008. They are on the Ragnarok Records label right now. Um, let's see. So it says of 2000, as of 2013, Howler was the infusion of two bands, and Haler formed in 2007, and then teaming up with an earlier version of Howler. So they were
Okay.
kind of a mashup, I guess. But anyway,
They just kind of annexed the other band
I get,
into Howler.
yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess that's probably what they did. But the current members are Jose Fucas Mora on bass, David Mora on guitars, Carlos Diaz on vocals, Renan Obando on guitars, and then Lena Mora on drums. So, and the drummer is actually the more recent member from who's got joined in 2021. Um, so the rest of the band, let's see, Renan joined in 13, and the rest of the band's been around since kind of the beginning. So this is the band's fourth full-length album, 10 tracks, 43 minutes, 24 seconds. The drumming is really what stuck out to me in this album, believe it or not. So hopefully they picked up a pretty good drummer here. So
nice.
Had some nice double bass and gallopings in there. So it's pretty cool. The vocals were of course very thrashy. You got your cleans and screams in there. So amazing guitar solos. Matter of fact, one of the songs I think had a pretty solid minute of a guitar solo. I was like, damn.
Shit, there you go.
Yeah. So it's pretty. It's like I noted this in here. So it's so glad to be hearing more of that on a lot of these reviews. I think we've done a few of these where we talk about the guitar solos, making a comeback. And I think we did a story a while back too. During our time doing this, I can't remember if it was last year or what, but I think one of the band members were talking about on one of the stories where he said it kind of went away where people didn't do solos for a long period of time there. So it's kind of cool to see see that coming back. And they did have a track called "Last Days," and it reminded me so much of an old school Metallica song. Like I really was going along with it. Like, man, this is just like almost just like that song. It's kind of crazy, but nothing wrong with that. I don't guess. But I mean,
no, there's nothing wrong with that.
Kind of be careful with that because Lars might hear it. But the fourth track was a 3 minute and 3 second instrumental called Supernova, which I had no issue with because it was 3 minutes long and it was all instrumental. So it wasn't like a 30-second interlude.
Right. Yeah.
Actually a track. I mean, 3 minutes long is a track. You know what I mean?
It is. Yeah, it is.
Even at 2 minutes, I think. I don't know. I think if you're doing instrumental, you get in a minute and a half mark, then yeah, it's a track. But you start doing these 30-second intros and shit. That's not really a track to me. But
right. Yeah.
But like I said, I was cool with it. I think it kind of fit perfectly in the album too. So it's kind of a, you kind of got all this in your face shit, and then boom, hit you with this instrumental, and then boom, right back into your face kind of thing. So, which I mean, the instrumental wasn't, it wasn't like a ballady type or anything. It was definitely, Mr. Scary worthy. So I mean, it was. But I'm definitely going to check out the entire catalog, especially since I just realized that the drummer, kind of just joined. So I kind of want to hear kind of how they evolved that from the earlier albums. So I really like this one too. I'm gonna give it 4 horns. So
nice.
Definitely something I think everybody should be checking out. So I'm really surprised that like how many of these bands are from so many different spots. It's so crazy. Like, the more we do this, the more I realize, like, damn, this, I don't think I've ever done any review from Costa Rica. So it's like pretty wild to be doing reviews from bands from there. So, and then, excuse me, and then the EP I did was that Malice Dextra 3 Volume 1 EP. They're actually coming out with this. This is kind of their third release, full album wise, but they're kind of splitting it into 2 EPs instead of 1 full album. So
okay, all right, I got you.
So it's kind of and then the little story on this band. They hail from St. Louis, Missouri, where guitarist Justin Roche, formerly of Derailed Brutal Harmony, resides, and formed 2017 after recruiting vocalist Wayne Allison from a strand of Fate and Victims of Life, with the intent to bring to world music that was not limited to boundaries of genres or subgenres. Although the core of the band is metal, the music speaks to the masses for fans ranging from Killswitch Engage to Slayer to I Prevail. So it's kind of it's kind of a full circle.
Yeah, it is. It really
But
is.
the two entered Encapsulated Studios to record the debut self-titled album released in October 31st, 2017, and was supported with Midwest and Upper East Coast touring in 2018. The band's second full-length album titled The Gate was released on October 31st, 2020, and I like the Halloween releases, looks like.
Mhm.
Supported by Midwest touring again, followed by dual releases Bangin' Bionic Beats EP featuring tracks from both the self-titled and the Gate remixed and reimagined, and a somber moment, a six-song softer acoustic side from the artist recorded at the Encapsulated Studios. So I do a lot of work with that studio. So both of those EPs were released on October 31st, 2021. So, shortly before the recording of A Somber Moment, the band welcomed a new core member, guitarist bassist Alex Schmidt, formerly from Warhead, handling bass tracks in support of that album. And then, of course, they're coming up into 2022. I think this album was supposed to be released in October as well. So it's
Nice.
kind of I didn't see if that was the case, and we didn't hear about it or what the deal was here. Let's see. Nope, it was actually released November 25th, so it was released on Friday. So I just want to make sure that the info that I have is correct. And
Yeah,
of course, I guess
course.
it was supposed to be out the 31st of 2022. It just didn't work out that way. So
Okay.
this one had four songs, 15 minutes, 39 seconds. The band really does mix it up. They do it, and I think they do it really well because, like you just go from that range of bands. They were just talking about Killswitch to Slayer to I Prevail. That's three totally different types of hard rock and heavy
Absolutely.
metal. So
Yeah.
so it's kind of a while to, and you hear that in the song because there was like some really thrashy stuff in there that sounded like Slayer,
Hmm.
but there was some screens and cleans that sounded kill switchy, and then there was like the I Prevail stuff that kind of like a little rappy, and then went into the hardcore. So
Hmm.
it really does have a lot of that in there, and the vocals are really diverse. And, of course, with comparing those three bands, you could see that, but and he sampled a different style on every track, which was pretty cool. The guitars on there were really impressive too. I'm going to give this one four horns as well. So a couple of four horn albums this week. So.
Nice. 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 All right. Well, my album review this week was the new album Born from Fire by the band Induction. They are a symphonic power metal band formed in Pardubice, Czechia in 2014. This is didn't have their lyrical themes listed, but it's kind of an interesting setup that this band has because they were formed in 2014. This is their second full length album. Their self-titled debut album came out in 2019. But according to, if I'm reading this right, according to their profile page, there are no original members left.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So if I'm reading this right, because they have the current lineup consists of Tim Hansen on guitars. He joined the band in 2017, and then everybody else is listed as having joined the band in 2022. You have
Wow!
you have Dominic Gush on bass, Dominic Zester on drums, Marcos Rodriguez on guitars, and Craig Cairns on vocals. So if I'm reading this right, there are no original members left.
Wow!
At best, Tim Hansen is left over. But that's weird because
Yeah,
they were formed in 14.
it's kind of
So
crazy how they were able to carry the name over. No
yeah,
original members
so
were there.
yeah,
Guess
so
unless they just gave him the name and they moved on to something bigger. I mean,
maybe yes. So that's this kind of odd. It's like the first time I've ever really seen that, especially with a band that's not even really that old. I mean, they were formed in 14. Here we are in 22. So that's only in like an 8-year career. So
right? Be
so
like, you can have it, man. I'm joining Killswitch or something.
yeah, something yeah. So who knows? But the new album Born from Fire is 12 tracks long, 57 minutes and 36 seconds. So a little bit longer of a listen. One thing that I've always found in symphonic and in power metal in general, but the symphonic power metal more specifically, is I do like the diversity that the symphonic element adds to the power metal, but there's always like this fine line, especially for me, as far as a balance wise between the metal aspect and the symphonic aspect, as far as what how much of an element of the symphonic gets added to the metal aspect of it. And this, because for me, it can go too far in the symphonic direction for it to be metal. And there were a couple of instances on this album where they they teetered on the brink a couple of times. So, but for most of it, and then there was one song, if I remember correctly, it was track 11, Eternal Silence. That was a ballad that had no instruments in it at all except for a piano and some string instruments. I'm not talking guitars. I'm talking like violins and shit like that. So they took the metal completely out of track 11, which personally I don't care for. If you want to do if you want to do a ballad, that's fine, but just, so I think they went I think they went off the path. They strayed from the path a little too far on that one. And then track number 5 was called Embers, where I was afraid that the album was gonna start. It was like, whoa, they're starting to get a little too far to the side for me. But they pulled it back after that track, and they brought the focus back to the actual metal, where the symphonic is accompanying it. It's a complementary part of it, not so much in the forefront of it, which that's the part of the symphonic power metal I like, where the symphonic aspect complements the metal to instead of.
So kind of what you were saying is like it was like almost all symphonic and no metal.
It was there were that track Embers was starting to head that way, so I was starting to get a little nervous that as the album went on it was going to start to head that way, but it didn't. They pulled it back to where they brought the metal back to being the primary focus of the songs after track 5, and then they got all the way down to track 11 and they just took the metal of it completely out, just had it be like a piano ballad, which I didn't care for. So but Craig Cairns, he's got a great voice. He's got a really great voice. Perfectly suited for power metal. There were a couple of instances where he added a little bit of like a metalcore aggression to certain lyrics, to certain lyrics of some songs, but it was never kind of like carried out through one entire song. So it was a little bit of he threw in a little bit of a stylistic curveball every once in a while, but it worked out. It worked really well. So, and then, as with a lot of power metal, the drums were really well done. And another thing that I didn't care for too much, and does tend to happen sometimes with symphonic metal, the solos are done with other instruments than guitars, and I don't really care for that either. So they did. I mean, like there was a keyboard solo, not exactly my favorite thing, and so overall the album was done well, but there were some things I could have either done without, or I wish they would have kind of changed. So I'm going to give this one 3.5 horns out of 5. Still a good album, but so, but like I say, symphonic power metal is usually done really, really well. You add the symphonic aspect and you kind of got to be careful. So because it can take over. And I don't really care for when that happens. When the symphonic focus becomes the primary focus, it kind of ruins it for me.
I think that's like what gets it to me with a lot of the melodic stuff is the symphonic part. So some of the melodic bands that I do like don't really depend on the symphonic part as much. So
yeah, and that's fine.
Yeah, and that's just my person. When you said you said, hey, I want to listen to this one this week, I was going through the playlist, getting the playlist together, and I come across that band, and I listened to one of the singles they had out, and I messaged you back. I said, yeah, that's probably kind of right up. You'd be able to give a fair shake to that. So and that's kind of where I've been doing. I've been kind of going through the playlist before I pick what album I really want to do, because I feel like I want to give it a fair shake. I mean, it was kind of cool to go in blind a lot, but then I kind of got into where I was doing a lot of death metal, and I didn't feel like I could give it a fair shake because I'm not a big fan of the death metal scene, but
Mm-hmm.
but now I have listened to a couple of death metal albums that I thought this is pretty cool. And then like to me, when I listened to it, I didn't hear death metal, but when I go and research the band, they're like, oh, they're a death metal band. I'm like, oh, well, okay. Well,
Yeah, he's like, if you say so, yeah,
yeah,
sure.
if you say so, I guess I like death metal then.
Yeah,
but,
there you go. Well, I mean, that's the thing is we've never said we don't like death metal. All
right,
we
it's
said
just we
was
just
always
don't
it's not
we
the
just don't
sub,
lean we don't lean that way. So
right. It's not really our one of our sub genres of choice. But I mean,
yeah,
we don't like, oh no, we don't. I mean, we don't turn it off or anything like
right.
that. It's just
And
not
you know,
not
if we're
our
and
not
we're
our
and we
specialty
and we
basically.
do like vocals. I mean, if you don't have the you know the vocals with the death metal, you know, most of the vocals with death metal, of course, is kind of hard to comprehend. So,
Mm-hmm.
so you know, like I said, I think most people that listen to death metal are just listening to the music anyway. Because I
Right.
mean, and actually, I've heard a lot of that, man. I'll be into some shit that I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great, and he goes. And I'm like, oh, never mind. But
Yeah.
so it's kind of like, but yeah, I could definitely see how people would listen to that and not just shut out the vocals. I mean,
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, at that point, you pretty much have to, because then at that point, the vocals kind of just blend into the background, and they in essence just become another instrument anyway. So
yeah, yeah. So, all right, is that the only one you got to this week?
yeah, that was
Yeah,
obviously,
I
yeah,
didn't think you
obviously
would
with
do a lot.
everything going on, that
Yeah.
was the only one I got to. But so looking ahead to the last month of 2022, December 2nd, this coming Friday, we have Acid Blade with Power Dive. We have We have Agyasma with Carnage. We have Actopasa with Journey to the Pink Planet. Interesting. We have, is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah,
Then we have
it's
this
like
one.
a Steel Panther album.
Right. Yeah, I know. Right.
Yeah,
Journey to the Center of the Girth or something like that.
yeah.
But and then this one could be a little interesting. We have Amberian Dawn with Take a Chance, a metal tribute to ABBA.
Huh.
So that one could be interesting.
Wow.
That one may
There's a
not be.
there's a lot of metal bands that kind of had ABBA as
An influence.
inspiration. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can
Yeah.
see that. I guess.
Yeah, so that one might be. I don't know if that was one we would want to do like a review on, but
Well,
that
no.
would
But it's
definitely
definitely worth checking out. Yeah.
yeah. So that one could be it could be great, or it could be horrible.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't think
Then-
there's going to be an in between.
probably not. No. And then we have Ancient Mastery with Chapter 1, Across the Mountains of the Dremar Skull. That is a re-release. And then they have another re-release. They have Ancient Mastery Chapter 2, The Resistance.
Well, they
Then
didn't
we-
say that was a re-release though. That was kind of. So I'm wondering if they're re-releasing the one.
Oh, that's true.
to
That's true.
Kind of promote the two, maybe.
That's true. That is true. Chapter 1 is a re-release. Chapter 2 may be the new one. Yeah, that's true. I didn't realize that. Then we have Anterbela with a self-titled album. We have Anti-Monument with Concealment. That's a re-release. We have Appalling with Sacrilege. Asterize with Two Worlds. Binary Order with Message from the Deep. Blaine Kandinsky with Eclectic Ruiner. Call of Charon with The Sound of Sorrow. That's an EP. Celestial Season with Mysterium 2. Coming Wolves with Dark Feelings. Dan Brooklyn with The Great Beast. Dead Memory with Awake. Derision Cult with Mercenary Notes Part 1. That's an EP. Despite Exile with Wound or Wound, however the hell they whatever the theme of that album might be.
I would expect Wound with a name.
Probably Wound, yeah. And then we have Destroyer 666 with Never Surrender. We have Doskamos with Wrapped Resistance, Doubt Sower, The Endless Shadow of Despicable Power. We have another AD band, Dystopia AD with Doomsday Psalm. Eric Moore's Gods with Machines. Funeral Mass with Shadow of the Raven Throne. Gavran with Indistinct Beacon. We have Getsamane with Vima. The Ghost of Fu Kang Walker with the Ghost of Fu Kang Walker EP. Grava with Weight of a God. Hammers of Misfortune with Overtaker. Heron with Empires of Ash. Hoofmark with Blood Red Lullabies. Imha Tarikat with Hearts Unchained at War with a Passionless World. We have Yours Pales with Tensions. We have Kekt Arak with Night and Love. they actually do have 2 re-releases. They have Night and Love and Pale Swordsman. We have Clada with False Gnosis, sorry. Then we have Crush Hammer with Blood, Violence, and Blasphemy. We have Labrique with Head Trap, Mixed Jaguar with Salvation, Minus Youth with Sun. That is an EP. We have Molar Bear with You Will Need Gods. Necro Death with what's that?
I was supposed to say you get the moves like Mixed Jaguar.
That's right. Then we have Necro Death with Singing in the Pain. Necrophobic with Blood Hymns. That's a re-release. We have Ninoct with Asking to be Killed. That's an EP. We have Nihilist Death Cult with Death to All Tyrants. We have Obvert with Triumph Beyond Adversity. We have Ol Rattlebones with Rise Chapter 1. That's an EP.
I feel attacked.
I know. Yeah. We have Opus Arise with The Network. Other Half with Soft Action. Phlebotomized with Devoted to God. That's a re-release. Project 34 with a self-titled album. We have Crixquar with Zoetrope. We have Rith with Deceptor Creator. Shining Wizard with Tournament of Death. That's an EP. Soul Prison with Vision of the Void. That is an EP. A Sound of Thunder, Queen of Hell, Initium. Swept to Sea with Tides. That's an EP. Tarja with Best of Living the Dreams. That's Tarja Turunen. She's got a greatest hits album coming out. We have the Threesome Kingdom Fall EP. Get your minds out of the gutter, you pervs. We have Tomb with Terror Winds. Various Artists, A Christmas That Rocks. That's ROXX. We have Veil Burner with Volburner. So they took all the vowels. They took all the vowels out of it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you know anything, you got to buy those.
Yeah, they're $250 a piece. Yeah. Then we have Vis Mystica with Celestial Wisdom. That is an EP. We have Wage War with the Strip Sessions. Yes. Interesting. Then we have White Long with Premonition and Written in Blood with a self-titled album. So a little bit of a shorter album list this week.
Kind of wondering if that Wage War is a acoustic type thing being
said. Sounds like it might be
stripped. Yeah, so that may be kind of interesting.
Sounds like it
to hear Wage War and an acoustic set.
Yeah. So definitely plenty to choose from, but I would say a slightly shorter list than the last few weeks.
Yeah, there's a lot more re-releases in this week. So
the EPs though have seemed to ramp up over the last couple of weeks too. You notice that? So so that can be that could be a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. Since I haven't done a whole lot of EPs this year, so it looks like looking a little forward though, man. It looks like the shit's falling off, man. Like, they even go down to December 30th. There's only like two new releases, so so we may be in the weeds when we get to that point. So we may be able to go back and try to listen to something that was released a couple weeks sooner, earlier.
That's true.
And do a review, even though it's not that we can still do a review on the album because it's still new. It's still new. So
and of course, December 30th, that December 31st show is going to be the year-end review show. Anyway. So,
that's true.
Even if there's not a whole lot of new stuff to review, we're going to be going back over an entire year anyway. So
that's true.
We'll have a little bit of room to maneuver there, so that'll be fine.
Cool.
Hell, December 9th isn't a short list, though. I tell you what.
No. So go back over here real quick. Sorry, I'm trying to get my shit together here.
Yeah, it can get away from you sometimes.
Yeah, so I did want to before we wrap it up, I did want to say that we do have a special guest next week. I haven't confirmed with them yet, but as far as it come from the earlier this week, we're still good. So I'm going to check back in with them this coming up Monday and make sure everything's still good for Saturday. But they're actually going to be here next Saturday, so it'll be a band on here next Saturday. So the show may be all band related at that point, but we'll see. We'll see if they wind up bailing a little early, then we can get some other stuff in. But it definitely won't be any history next week with bands on. So we'll cut that part out. But we'll try to get some news and some upcoming tours and
album
most
reviews.
most
Of
of
course,
yeah, most of the new stuff on there. So
yep.
We'll see. But the band that we're talking to next week is called Avaris. They're a 5-piece out of Belgium. So that's going to be pretty good, pretty cool to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked to a band from Belgium yet. So
we have not, but
so
we just had
we're continuing our world tour. So
that's right. Yeah. adding a little bit more European flavor to the Metalheads Unite podcast. Yeah, absolutely.
And then of course we got another band coming on the 10th. So it looks like so far everything's still on. So like I said, I don't want to release a whole lot until I touch base and make sure everything's still good with them. So but as far as I know, Avaris will be here next week, so we will be able to conversate with them about their new album, The White Elephant, and what they got tour plan wise. So and maybe get some crazy stories out of them. So
I guarantee you they'll have some. I guarantee you. If you get,
we got some good ones last night, that's for sure. So
yeah. You notice how a lot of them have to do with poop?
I do, yes, they do, yeah. So I blame John O'Connor for that. So
yeah,
he started that. He started the poop the poop revolution. So
yeah, he sure as hell did.
Which actually, I need to check back in with those guys and see what they're up to. So hopefully they got some new stuff coming out soon. I'm ready. I'm ready for some new One of the Last. So
hell yeah, man. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I guess we will try to wrap this bad boy up.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you all for stopping by. And then Chris can go through all of our all of our good old
all of our sources and socials and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. We have the mothership, VOPUSAradio.com, the VOPUSA Radio mobile app. We have our YouTube channel, our Instagram page, our TikTok profile, our Twitter page. We have the Patreon that's up, but not exactly active yet, but it's up. We still have we have the Metalhead Unite USA at gmail.com web address, and the ever growing Facebook membership page over there. So if you guys want to become a member of that, send us a member request. We'll get you guys hooked up. So we're creeping up on 500 members. So it's getting there, which is nice. Again, like as we alluded to early in the show, a lot of that is due to our friend Victor at Rockin' Heavy. So we appreciate that. We appreciate him stopping by. We appreciate Dana stopping by from Metal and Tats and his sister Rosemary. We appreciate that. So yeah, you can pretty much catch us live anywhere that that podcasts are streamed live on a weekly basis. So we're not too hard to find. So.
And before I forget, I was on the Politishock earlier this week, and that's where I've been getting all of my upcoming news from, obviously. So Dan did drop a bomb on me saying that music is coming. So he's tired of getting strikes. So
good.
So we're on our way to being able to play music. So I mean that's good for us because maybe at that point we can do some live reviews of stuff. So
that would be cool as hell.
Yeah, so we would be able to not listen to like whole entire songs maybe, but clips and kind of see what we think as far as clips.
Yeah. But what it'll do is it'll just open up a whole lot of different possibilities.
It will, yeah. So hopefully that's something coming up real soon. So he just keeps dropping the good news on me. I love it. So,
I'm all for it. I need to be able to find time to actually to join the Politishock too. It's of course this week with this week.
Well, they had it on an odd day too. He had it on a Tuesday because of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So
this week wasn't great for various reasons. But yeah, I need to make sure I hop on during one of the Politishock episodes too. I got to find time to join in. So.
All right, gang. Well, I appreciate everybody stopping in today. And if you didn't catch the interview with Hidden Intent last night, you can catch that over on our YouTube or Twitch or Facebook. All of it is there on there. So go by and check that interview out. It was pretty cool. Sat down with the Aussies there and
Yeah.
talk about the thrash scene from down under, which I didn't realize how many metal bands was from Australia until, like I said, they got on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going through and doing some research. I'm like, oh my God, like, there's so many. And it seemed like he was talking about how it's not as saturated there, which was kind of cool that the metal bands aren't as saturated as like other countries. So
Yeah, well,
of course they're not as big either. But I'm just saying it's still kind of cool that you kind of got a leg up, so to speak, when you're.
Oh yeah, yeah, they do.
Get a dog up in you,
Yep, get a dog up you. That's right.
That was funny. So. Anyway, appreciate you guys for stopping in. Like I said, and then appreciate Chris for joining us today under the circumstances. He didn't have to. He could have. I could have went solo. Wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But I appreciate it because the way my voice is sounding right now, I don't know if I would have made it. So I've been down in this water, it's still scratchy, so I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we appreciate it, and
yep,
I know everybody here does too. And I said we appreciate everybody for stopping in.
Yes, we absolutely do.
No matter where you're listening to us on, so we do appreciate it. So, and then hopefully we will see you back here next week for the interview with Averis. So
yeah.
Until then, you guys keep those horns held high and jump in that pit anytime you can. Until next week.
Thank you guys. Have a great